Well, good afternoon, folks. Welcome to Blue Marble Science, and we're live again on a Tuesday afternoon. So we already got some people in the over in the Discord. Let me see if I can bring them on board. Here we go.
Yeah.
Something is happening with the audio here.
I know.
We are.
Blue's just gone live and my YouTube wasn't muted.
We are live.
It is now.
We muted?
Okay.
Or
Good.
are we speaking on YouTube?
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're
that's what I
speaking
was
on
wondering.
YouTube.
Hang on.
Yep.
Out on YouTube.
Not yet.
Okay, good.
No. You see, with football, all the violence happens off the pitch, and with rugby, all the violence happens on the pitch.
40 minutes a half, and it's just nonstop grabbing, punching.
Yeah, yeah,
mauling.
and you can't see the half of it because my youngest played rugby for quite some years. He went from sort of juniors, colts, seniors, played for one of the local teams, and yeah, some of the stories he'd come in off after the match and sort of say, "Oh, you should have seen what was going on in the scrum," because he was a flanker. They're biting, punching, and they'll do anything if the ref can't see it.
Yeah, pulling ears off. I mean, those guys wear those ear flap things to protect their ears.
Yeah, oh yeah.
I mean, my
Yeah,
God.
Yeah. It's a very violent game.
Yes, it is. NFL's like walk in the park compared to the great rugby leagues.
Yeah, because they don't have all this body armor and padding and helmets and crossing.
Well, not only that, the NFL, if you ran a clock, it's like 3 minutes clock time for a whole game. It's start, stop, start, stop, start, stop. Rugby is 40 straight minutes. Oh my God.
I've never understood that about American football. You just, as soon as you get going, you stop again. Whereas at least in rugby, it can be quite a flowing game. It depends what's happening, of course. But
I was watching those matches in Australia, State of the Game. I can't think of it. It's some like big thing every year. I can't think of the teams.
Yeah, I don't know.
And I couldn't believe how violent it was. One guy just cold cocked the guy right in the mouth. Basically broke his jaw.
Yeah, that'll get you red carded over here. That'll get you sent off. But
I think it got him red card over there too.
Yeah.
He really, I mean, it was like, oh my God. The guy would be in jail in this country. That happened in
all right. I'm assuming we can now be heard out in the big wide world.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because somebody just made a comment about rugby, and I thought, oh shit, we're talking about rugby. They could hear us.
Yeah. Better start making sense then.
What?
Meanwhile, back at the live stream.
Meanwhile, back at the ranch.
Yeah.
You sneaky bugger.
Hello to Farmer's Boy, Joe Whip, Judy Bassett, and Socialist Worker Drone. And a good Tuesday afternoon. Yes. A good time's going to be had by all, I'm sure.
Like the sound of that?
Or maybe not. Who knows? Anything good? Anything good going on today? Hello, Stingray, out in the chat. Patio Furniture, Hads. Rodent, no last name. Sean Hawkins. Rob Barton, and who else is up there? I think that pretty much got everybody. Yeah, I didn't have anything particular on my mind. I just thought, what the hell? May as well do a live stream, right? I'm not doing anything else.
Why not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why not? And I think this time of the year, Jose likes to go live a little bit later, so I might be competing with Creaky Blinder right now, but
Yes, I think you might be. Yeah, Jose isn't streaming for hours yet. In fact, I think by the time he's streaming, I will be in bed and fast asleep. So, bloody time zones.
Yeah.
But there's nothing going on with the Creaky Blinder.
No.
It's a premiere of a video. That happened already or not. I don't think he's live streaming anything.
Door News says talk about stuff flerfs don't know, don't get. so anything goes. Isn't that the damn truth?
Yes.
Yeah. Hello, Citizen Nine.
Yeah, they don't grasp anything.
Can't even grasp language.
No, it was.
Isn't that the truth? Man, I
We're
did
joined
run
by
across.
Alan Evans.
Where's Alan? Oh, there he is. Hello, Alan. He's getting situated. He'll be with us momentarily, I'm sure. I saw some really in fact, we might just have to play that or a little bit of it.
He hit a new low.
Yeah, this is kind of low even for Nathan.
Blimey.
Just when you think Nathan hits gets as low as you can get to the bottom of the barrel, takes out a hammer and puts a hole in the bottom of the barrel and goes.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much what he's done too. His video wasn't too well. His video was the usual, clueless about Coriolis and how that would affect an airplane and so forth. Okay, nothing new there. He's never been able to figure that out.
No.
Never will be able to. That's okay, but he made a comment, and I'll show it to you in a little while. He made a pinned comment in his comment section, which is absolutely disgusting.
I just find it interesting with that they have this confidence when they present their bullshit. It's with 100% confidence they present it.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like no doubt in their mind that this is the truth. Discovered by them.
Well, they have absolutely no concept and no clue about what a frame of reference is in the first place. And apparently no amount of talking is ever going to convince them that anything is in every frame of reference all the time. And you can't leave one and go to another. It's not like walking out of your kitchen and going into your den. Frames of reference don't work like that. They are so clueless. And the only reason the only reason an inertial frame of reference is mentioned, and they get it only from the Wikipedia description of Coriolis. The only reason that's even mentioned is you need something to compare that frame, the rotating frame of reference to be able to say, yes, it's rotating. That's all.
In fact, I think it's that little little anime thing on the Wikipedia page. I suspect that's confusing the hell out of them.
I hate that thing.
I don't think that's the only thing that confuses them, though.
No, but it doesn't help when they've got a misconception already, and then they look at that and go, "There you go, see."
Oh yeah.
I don't know.
Well, that is in fact a problem. That is a very simplistic, almost ridiculous example of Coriolis.
Yeah.
That's fine if you're only talking about merry-go-rounds. It doesn't work. That's not at all what we're talking about when we talk about Coriolis force on a rotating sphere. And unfortunately, you're probably better off if you understand at least enough to know what a vector cross product is if you're truly going to try to understand it. But they don't.
No.
Still, they mess up. They mess up the merry-go-round example. They can't even seem to get that one. I've got that thing. Let me see. Hang on a second. I'm gonna try to share my screen.
Oh, shout out to Doxy in the chat. No, you haven't missed the scientific evidence for a flat Earth.
No, we're getting there though.
Yeah.
But we'll have scientific evidence for the flat Earth up any minute now. Let's see.
No, there we go.
Let's see what I can do. There, that ought to be going out to the YouTube crowd. Hopefully. This is the thing you're talking about over here on the right. That little thing.
That's the one. Yeah.
Let's see. I wonder if I can make that larger. Yeah, I can. There you go.
Hey.
Yeah, that's the little cartoon that they put in Wikipedia, and that's that's okay for what it's trying to show. But when they talk about an airplane, and this is the problem that they constantly get themselves into, when you're flying an airplane, what you're trying to do is maintain a specific course over the ground.
Mm.
If I was in my airplane starting out here at the center where the black ball starts, right? And I'm in Chicago and I want to fly to Atlanta, which is down here at the bottom, it would be nice to fly in that nice straight line, right?
Yep.
But if I fly in that straight line in the inertial reference frame, where am I going to end up? It sure as hell isn't going to be Atlanta. Atlanta ended up over here. This is the path I take across the ground. So they can say what they like about this stuff, but they're just flat wrong. Things actually do curve in the rotating frame of reference, in the non-inertial frame. They're straight in the inertial frame. It may be straight in the inertial frame, may not be. But even if it is straight in the inertial frame, it's still actually curving in the non-inertial frame. I'll really blow their mind. I'll give you another reference frame where the airplane's not even moving. I'll just make the airplane the reference frame. Now, it's not moving. The Earth is moving. That's what they can't seem to get to grasp. But think about what I said. I mean, if you want to take the path from the black ball here starting in the center to the red dot, you dare not fly that along that straight line in the inertial frame of reference. It won't work. Anyway. All right. I'm done preaching.
But then, of course, they get muddled up because they say, "Oh, so when you're flying the plane, are you allowing for Coriolis?" Well, when you're flying a plane, you're allowing for all sorts of things, aren't you? You know, this only tends to come into effect when you've got something that's uncontrolled, typically ballistic, like you've just fired a shell or something. You know, because once you fired it, that's it. You can't do anything to it. And that's why in long-range artillery they have to allow for it, because once you've fired that shell, it's gone. You can't just say, "Oh, hang on a minute, can we just nudge it a few degrees to the left or the right?" Oh, actually, now you can in some very clever ones, but basically, once it's gone, and you've got to allow for everything before you fire the bloody thing.
That's exactly right.
Yeah,
and that's the point. Airplanes are not ballistic missiles.
Nope.
They're not ballistic devices. We actually steer those things. So imagine that.
That's it. Yeah. Who'd have thought it?
Yeah. You're perfectly correct. I mean, once the bullet leaves the gun barrel, you don't have any more control over it.
Nope.
It goes where it goes.
And that's why when you look at the First World War era battleships, they had those huge mechanical computers on board, calculators on board for working out. You know, okay, we're firing a shell 15, 20 miles over there. We've got to allow for this, that, and the other. We've got to allow for wind. We've got to allow for the effects of Coriolis, and they crunch the numbers. They do that just on a whim. If you don't need to do it, you ain't going to do it, are you? You're not going to put yourself through all that hassle if you don't have to.
No, of course not.
That's the key, farmers. What you just said then is crunch the numbers. When a flat earther says a plane shouldn't be able to do what it does due to Coriolis, You should never try and educate a flat earther. You should ask them to educate you.
Yeah.
Great. How did you work that out? And can you show the actual forces involved along with values, please? Or is it just hearsay in your opinion?
Is it just me, or is Stingray really quiet?
Yeah, Stinger's low. Let me see.
That's all right. That ain't just me.
Wait a minute. No, that could be me. Wait a minute. Give me a sec. Wait a minute. What happens if I do this? Do I get louder?
You've
Yeah,
got a bit
yeah, you
louder.
do.
Yeah, you're still a little bit back there, but are you over the other side or off or something?
No, but I've got a mic now that's sat behind my monitors and suspended, so I'm going to talk at it.
You might want to crank it up a bit then. Okay.
Yeah, it sounded better.
Wrong way there.
I turned him up a
Even
bit on
people
my
said,
end.
tell Stingray to stop talking from across the room. That's exactly what it sounds like.
Right, how about now?
Still quiet.
Oh, God damn this stupid thing.
Put your old headset on.
Wait a minute, how about now?
A little better. Still quiet.
Stingray, have a camera attached to your PC?
Can you hear me, by the way?
You
Yeah.
hear you?
I can hear you. Maybe and then one of your other mics is picking up instead of the one that's in front of you.
My webcam does that all the time, Josh. I will.
Yeah, my webcam hijacks my computer.
Yeah,
guys.
my webcam's fine, but the microphone that's built in is just shite.
Wait a minute, can you hear me tapping the mic now?
Nope.
Nope.
Holy shit, B-ball. Good call. Wait there.
Yeah.
I think it's a Logitech
I don't know.
conspiracy.
Yeah, I don't know why it overrides any other microphone. That's why I always unplug mine in my PC.
Yeah, I do, and I've specifically gone in and disabled the microphone in the webcam, and still sometimes, particularly if we've been doing one of Terry's streams, and when that shuts down and we all go back to Discord, and I've gone really quiet because I've still got the webcam plugged in, and it's like, no, I've disabled the mic. It shouldn't even be working. I find in a webcam that hasn't got a built-in mic.
Yeah, that didn't work. I am actually on the mic that I thought I was on.
Oh.
Indeed, you select which mic you want and
Weird.
go with default, and you'll be fine.
Yeah. I know all that. I can set defaults in all sorts of places and all things, but for some reason, the mic in the webcam, even though I've got it disabled, it still sometimes says, no, it's me, I'm going.
You can't, because if you choose in Discord, say this mic, it has a name, not called default, but called
Yes,
the mic.
I know
can't
that.
be hijacked at all.
No, you're wrong. It can and it does.
You know about programming in Windows and how it works. The device name change its name.
I don't know. Something weird's going on with microphones.
Yep.
It's the beginning of the takeover by artificial intelligence.
Well, from what I've seen so far, we're safe. I still think Putin's a bigger worry.
Oh, for now. It's 5 years, and then we'll all be looking for Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Are we live on YouTube?
Yep.
Okay.
Yes, we are. You betcha. If YouTube stays up.
I wanted to bring something up, but I think I'll hold my cards close to my chest, so to stay.
Okay.
Sounds intriguing. Yes, Sigmund. If Rumpus was here, nobody else is my matter.
It was funny.
Yeah.
Should have
you
said,
wouldn't try
Farmer's Boy, you should have said, can I get an amen? You would have gotten all amens in here.
that. I'm not the person to do that.
Neither am I, but I say it anyway.
Don't even say when people sneeze, because why would I?
I do it, but I'm thinking of Joe Pesci when I do.
Yeah, yeah. We say Pesci Blake. That's our new thing.
Yeah.
And I see Professor Phil Bell out there in the chat. My 2 cents. No name. Miraki, I guess that is. Who else we got?
If you run out of things to talk about, Blue, we can talk about my radioactive cat.
You got a radioactive cat?
Yes.
Take it back.
What you been doing to it?
He has hypothyroidism.
Oh yeah.
We tried to cure it with the methesmanol or whatever it's called, and it didn't work. So he got on last Monday, not yesterday, last Monday. He got a shot of iodine 131.
Oh.
So he's radioactive. So we can't basically can't be around them for 2 weeks. And so Geiger count, I measure him every 6 hours or so to see if he's less radioactive.
Good Lord.
And of course, I suppose he wants all
said
the fuss.
Now he wants
iodine.
131,
Iodine what? 131.
131.
What's the half-life of?
The half-life
Maybe-
is 2 days, I think.
Yeah.
Okay. That's
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah, it's not extensive.
Poop in the litter box. Poop in the litter box glows in the dark.
It's easy to scoop it up then and throw it away
You
when
can
it's
see it
dark.
in
You
the
don't
dark,
have to.
yeah.
You don't have to turn on the lights.
Oh, good old no name. We can always count on you, can't we?
Does this sound any better? I've swapped a microphone now.
Oh,
Yes.
bloody hell!
that
Now I've got to
sounds way
turn them
better.
down. Christ
Oh,
almighty.
okay. This is actually the Blue Yeti mic that I thought sounded crap. I boxed.
I mean, you're loud and you sound like you're in a large empty room. Oh, hang on.
I am at the moment. You know I am.
I know exactly. Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute, but all the foam's here. I just haven't put it up yet. So there you go.
Yeah, it's the same effect you get in something like a bathroom when you've got no soft furnishings to sort of take the edge off and absorb the harshness of your voice. Yeah, but yeah, it's loud and clear now. I mean, before it did sound like you was down the end of the bloody garden almost.
Does my microphone sound like shit?
No, it's very clear.
Well, this is a Blue Yeti that I'm on now.
Yeah, I'm on one too.
Bjorn's he's boosting his bass so he has that deep, rich, dulcet tones.
Wow, does he actually sound like this in real life?
Oh, he's got a high pitched squeal.
Go on, say level is horizontal. Yeah.
Hey, Stingray. I just emailed you. I remember a few weeks ago I said I was gonna send you this some Blender flat Earth model that someone sent me a long time ago. I just sent it to you through email so you can check it out.
I shall definitely help.
In case anyone's wondering, socialist worker drone really sounds like Pee Wee Herman.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you.
Have you all had Nathan Oakley argue with James' recording?
Yes, that is.
And who?
Oh, yeah, I listened to that earlier on. I mean, that's up there with Jim arguing with himself, isn't it?
Wait, what happened?
They were playing a recording of Panda was, I can't remember who it was. He was having a conversation with somebody else, and they were playing this, I think, in 24/7 Flat Earth. It might. They're listening to the recording. Nathan Oakley comes in live and tries to interrupt and tell Jem how wrong he is, and he's trying to butt into the conversation, not realizing that he's trying to butt in to a recording.
Oh, that's hilarious.
And then somebody points it out to him, and then he says, "Yeah. I realise that, but Jem won't reply to me." Yes, because he's not here. You're arguing with a fucking recording, you know. It was like Jin a while back when he was telling himself to stop interrupting him, and nobody else was talking because he'd got the YouTube page unmuted, and he could hear himself 30 seconds before, and he was arguing with himself. It's you could hear Oakley keep trying to butt in, and it's like it's recorded, mate.
Was this on a video?
Gem? Yeah,
Whose video?
it's check out Gem Panda's channel.
Okay, I'll check it out.
He posted it earlier on today. It's only a few minutes. It's only a one, but it's so funny.
You want to listen to some Oakley Derp?
Absolutely.
Sure.
Yeah.
Oh shit! I've left my oven gloves downstairs. I really should bring them up here for the evening, shouldn't I?
Yeah, you probably.
Wait on, hold on. I have 3 monitors in front of me here. I pay for them if I punch them blue.
No.
This is why you need to be so on casters, so you can just push yourself back out of the way.
And what's sad is that I'm not even watching on the monitors. I'm listening to my phone, but I still want to punch my monitor.
Yeah, don't.
Or the 12 extra. Just standing here in case I watch one of these videos.
Dangerous to listen to this on a phone. You end up throwing the phone if you're not careful.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a little ridiculous hit piece that Nathan did on Wolfie 6020. I don't know if you guys saw it or not, but we'll watch a little bit of it.
This.
Yeah.
Do you get a call from ground control? Ground control to Wolfie Cloud Show. There is a man observing you from a non-inertial turning reference frame. Please make micro adjustments immediately.
Can't hear it, Blue.
Can't hear it?
Not in here, we can't.
All right.
Well, this is the best video we made yet. Can't hear it.
Let's see what I did wrong. Stop streaming. I don't know why. Not sure why you're not hearing it. What is
Do
it?
whatever you did the other day.
Yeah, that's the problem. I don't remember what I did the other day.
You got to remember what you did, yeah.
Yeah, let me try it again.
Look like it's drifting. Yeah, ground control to major idiot. You got to account for a...
Still not hearing it?
No. You're not sure? Are you using OBS?
I'm sharing it over in Discord. It's playing it on YouTube. I can see the audio's going out on YouTube. But you guys ought to be hearing it in Discord. And I don't understand why not.
Yeah, but it's not actually playing at the moment, is it?
No. I'm on a... All
Have
right.
another go.
I don't want applications. I want... Well, I could try that. Let's try that. We'll get this figured out yet. All right, I'm going to give you a little bit more audio.
Observing you from a non-inertial turning reference frame, please make
That's
micro
got it.
adjustments immediately.
Did that do it?
Unfortunately,
Here we go.
Yes.
All I heard was yes or no.
yes.
Yes.
Oh, okay. All right, here we go.
Do you get that call, do you, Wolfie, you stupid buffoon? Look like it's drifting. Yeah, ground control to major idiot. You've got to account for a not actual drift you're not experiencing.
I just got to point out something. And Nathan, in case you weren't aware of this, the only time you talk to ground control is when you're on the ground. Just a helpful hint there, bud.
You just heard
quoting,
Nathan Oakley
Roberts.
rip
He's quoting a
his
song.
soul right through his throat, like he said, concisely, to the point. That's the standard. Can you do that?
A closure of the point with Wolfie. So if I scroll down towards the bottom, you'll see. So you agree that aircraft need to make regular small heading corrections to remain precisely on course. Good. Well, he's talking about the observer that sat opposite.
Don't tell me what he's
So
talking
I don't
about.
mind giving-
Just read. Tell me what he
Now
says.
what we
I
can
want to
t-
hear him say that he makes corrections on account of the Coriolis deflection. That's what I'm looking for.
Find inspiration using Kayak Explorer to see everywhere you can fly on your budget. Kayak. Search one and done.
Thank you, YouTube.
A fragrance this alluring could only belong to a powerful trap.
Nothing I can do about that.
Guys, are we seriously funding an Oakley now?
Aircraft will drift if no corrections
Yes.
are made. We know aircraft need to make constant corrections. So are you talking about the pilot?
That's
making
good enough.
adjustments or the air-
No. Contextually, that's good enough for me. Leave it on screen, please. That's good enough. Drift, you say? Drift. What would that be? Coriolis drift. In this argument between Wolfie 6020 and Sleeping Warrior, it is about Coriolis, correct?
Yeah.
And according to Wolfie's statement,
Let me just point out that not necessarily is what is Wolfie said. You admit that the aircraft will drift if no corrections are made. It can drift for a lot of reasons, not just Coriolis. Nathan is stretching a bit here. You make corrections all the time for wind.
When you drive your car down the highway, you're constantly making little corrections.
Yeah. You're doing the same thing in an airplane. Constant, small corrections. Anyway, we'll keep going.
they do have to account for drift in the aircraft, correct?
Yes, absolutely.
Wolfie, you complete idiot. You do not understand what Coriolis effect is. Coriolis effect, that would be the drift you detailed in your comment, is an observation from the non-inertial turning reference frame. That would be to say that you see a ball travelling straight appear to drift if you're on a roundabout with a ball thrown over the top of it. Analogous to your aeroplane travelling straight and appearing to drift from the ground as you turn beneath it.
Was that ball staying over the red dot? Was it staying lined up with the red dot or not? The answer is obviously not.
And this is the one I think now we know where it comes from, is they talk about people on a merry-go-round or roundabout and the ball being thrown over it. And from that, if you're on the roundabout, it would appear to drift. It's actually going straight from an inertial reference frame. This is different, though, because the plane is actually being affected by the Coriolis effect. It's like being in with the tilt-a-whirl or whatever you guys call it in England.
Well, yeah.
It gets spun in the wall.
Yeah, I went through all this earlier. And the fact of the matter is, the damn thing, that ball is both going in a straight line and curving. It just depends on which frame of reference you're in. In the non-inertial reference frame, it absolutely is fucking curving. You can't say it's not. It is. Go ahead.
Video where I think back in the 50s, where they have a guy on a spinning merry-go-round, if you will, and they actually have not a ball, but it's like a air hockey thing. It's going in a circle as you're looking at it on the table from the moving reference frame.
Yeah, that's from that old
It's really
black and white one.
Yeah, that's the one.
That's a really good one. I love that video. It's a good one.
No, but the point is, the ball is doing both. It depends on what frame of reference you're in. If you're in the non-inertial reference frame, it actually is curving. In a non-inertial frame, not the non-inertial, a non-inertial frame, it's not. But anyway, that's the misunderstanding these idiots have. Go ahead.
I'd like to ask the flat earthers. Their international flight that they're on. Ethan, Warrior, or Wolfie?
Oh, you get. Yep, same here.
Yeah, I'm getting a lot of roboting. Ooh. I got to do something about this. Anyway, let's play some more of this thing.
That would be the Coriolis drift Earth is claimed to have. Like you standing on the ground and looking at the stars moving because it's claimed you're turning beneath them. So in your example, your plane is drifting from the ground, but not actually drifting in reality. So Wolfie thinks you have to account for drift observed from the ground that isn't really occurring. So Wolfie, riddle me this. Do you get a call from ground control? Ground control to Wolfie Cloud Show. There is a man observing you from a non-inertial turning reference frame. Please make micro adjustments immediately. Do you get that call, do you, Wolfie, you stupid buffoon? No, you do not. Why don't you? Because it's not Coriolis deflection is the not actual drift observed from the non-inertial turning reference frame. There is no accounting for drift in the projectile, which would be your little aeroplane, wouldn't it, Wolfie? You fundamentally do not understand Coriolis drift, you total moron.
They can say that the plane makes adjustments.
Adjustments would be on your roundabout if you want to bring it back up, Anthony. The frame of reference being filmed is the turning reference. So
And right here, he's proving with his own reference, his own citation, that it absolutely is turning. Look at where the red dot starts. Let me back up a little bit.
I hope he was never in the Royal Navy because he would be missed every shot that he got.
Roundabout, if you want to bring it back up, Anthony. The frame.
The little red dot was at the bottom. The ball is moving straight in an inertial reference frame, but it's not moving toward that red dot, is it? Not at all. And a shout out to David Oliver for £2. Ground control to Major Derp. Ain't that the truth? Watch where the red dot ends up.
Frame of reference being filmed is the turning reference, so everybody on the reference stays the same as the camera position. It's the ball that's moving. Well, the ball that we see from the camera's position seems to curve.
Yeah, is that ball moving on the non-inertial reference frame in a straight line, you knucklehead? It's obviously not. Of course it's curving in that frame of reference. Jesus God.
But in reality, it's only seeming to curve because your camera position is moving. The ball in reality is moving straight. Now, that is analogous to Wolfie's plane not drifting, moving straight. The only time it seems to drift is if you're observing it from the ground. Now, it's not really drifting, it just looks like it is. So what's he getting his micro adjustments for? Exactly. The not actual deflection observed from the ground.
Now he's making the adjustments because he's not staying over his course on the ground if he doesn't.
No
got something
one
for me?
cares what happened. I'm sorry, Bull. Nobody gives a shit what the airplane looks like from this non-inertial outside the Earth's God perspective. You've drawn a line on the Earth. You want to stay on that line on the Earth. You need to make corrections. You're always the roundabout. Nobody cares about this, the space big God view, if you will.
Nope. Do you have something, farmers, or?
No. Crack on.
Okay.
Let's listen to more bullshit.
You're a thick idiot, Wolfie, and you do not understand Coriolis effect. I'm proud to tell you as a flat earther, to a pilot, no less, you don't understand Coriolis and you're being schooled by me. The drift is not actual. You're not going to be adjusting for a not actual drift observed from the ground, you idiot. You don't understand Coriolis, Wolfie. Thicko.
Optical, baby.
Here we go.
There is one
again.
thing he says it's right. There's one thing he says you really not correct with Coriolis because it's such a minor effect that it's washed out and everything.
Yeah.
So he's got the wrong reasons, but his final conclusion is correct. You really don't correct Coriolis.
You do not correct specifically for Coriolis, but the correction must be in order to keep the right track.
Right now, you can't say that you do correct for winds, and a lot of the winds, the east-west the United States, are caused by Coriolis, so it's sort of a second-hand effect.
Yeah, I have exactly the same thing when I'm doing long-range rifle shooting. I don't even think about Coriolis because the wind effects at long range are about 1,000 times greater.
Yeah, they're much greater. Much
Now,
greater.
if you're going to fire a gun, these old-fashioned, siege guns they used to have, you better start correcting for Coriolis effect, or you're going to miss.
Well,
yeah.
Even modern day artillery, they still have to bear it because they're still shooting where it can be different.
Right.
Can someone help me with English? What does actual mean?
Real.
Like real, like if the plane is not what it's supposed to be on Earth, is not actual reality.
Actual, existing in fact, typically as contrasted to what was intended, expected, or believed. Existing, now current.
Well, then Nathan don't understand what actual means.
Right. Well, he keeps on going back to their favorite one, where you have the people on the merry-go-round, the roundabout, spinning around, and you throw a ball overhead. And from the roundabout, it would appear that the ball is curving, but according to them, in reality, in the non-moving reference frame, it's going straight, and that's the one they fall for.
If you track
whose reality,
if you track the path of the ball over the surface of the merry-go-round, it is curving. That's what they miss. That is what they miss totally. That thing he shows demonstrates it. You can see the ball the path curving over that roundabout. And the airplane will do the same thing. It'll curve over the surface of the Earth if you're not correcting.
If the ball was dripping paint as it flew, the path it would trace over the roundabout would be curved.
Well, that's exactly. That's what it does in the non-inertial rotating frame of reference. That's exactly what happens. That's what the correction is for.
As far as an airplane, nobody really gives a rat's ass about the non-inertial, the space God looking on an Earth reference frame. Nobody cares. That's another thing they really don't understand, because we're on the non-inertial reference frame. We're on the moving reference frame.
Nobody cares. Nobody cares about it. Period. It's only mentioned in the Wikipedia article, and I went through this earlier. It's only mentioned in the Wikipedia description of Coriolis because that is the proper way to describe a rotating non-inertial frame of reference. You need something to compare it to say that, yes, it's rotating. If you don't have that, then it's more difficult to say I'm in a non-inertial rotating frame.
Yeah,
it's just That's all that amounts to. And as soon as you make that distinction to say, okay, this frame of reference is absolutely compared to an inertial frame rotating, you don't have no further use for the inertial frame. It serves no purpose. And like I said, if you want another reference frame, I'll give you one where the airplane doesn't move at all. Just make the reference frame the airplane.
Right.
Now the Earth moves rapidly. Yeah, you can. That's their misunderstanding.
An airplane is not an artillery piece. You're driving, you're flying the thing. You're not just.
Yeah.
You don't have to make with an artillery piece. You have to make all the corrections at the beginning. Nowadays they've got control stuff, but let's go with just your dumb piece of iron projectile.
Were you listening to our conversation earlier on?
No, actually I wasn't. Was I?
Oh, well, you've just repeated everything we said, but yeah.
Okay, well then I'll shut up. I'm sorry.
No, but it's if you're in a plane, a helicopter, what have you, you're steering it. Yeah, as soon as you fire a projectile, and like you said, there are now it's a kit where they can sort of guide it to a certain degree, but generally once you've locked, that's it. It's gone. So you've got to allow for everything before you go far.
I apologize for coming in late.
No.
Yeah, but Earth is not full with lead or explosive. It's mainly hollow, and therefore doesn't weigh much compared to its every little wind. The Coriolis is non-effect.
Yeah, well, that just becomes.
Lou said, it's the wind you got to worry about more than anything else.
No, the wind's 100 times what Coriolis, or 1,000 times what Coriolis could ever be. Coriolis would be a very, very minor little thing added in there someplace. But you're probably never going to know that you're correcting for it, because there's always wind aloft, no matter what. You may find a nice calm day down here on the ground, but I've never been above 5,000 feet when there wasn't some wind, ever.
And that's the only time that they actually mention Coriolis in the Air Force training, pilot training, is when you go to weather class, because that's the cause of the winds, the west prevailing winds in the United States.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, let's see what else this idiot has to say.
Yeah.
Yep, wait a minute.
Drift through the goal because the goal moved
I'll back
under
up
the
a little
ball.
bit.
The ball in Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Optical, baby.
And I think it's
not actual.
Says,
apparent drift. That's what Coriolis is. The ball in Neil deGrasse Tyson's example seems to drift through the goal because the goal moved under the ball. Earth's supposed to be turning under stuff. That's what Coriolis is. So Earth is claimed to turn under Wolfie's plane. And what's he going to say? Oh, well, I account for the Coriolis drift. Do you now? Given that it's accounted for from the ground as you observe something that's not drifting, look like it's drifting. Yeah, ground control to major idiot. You've got to account for a not actual drift you're not experiencing. Hello?
Yeah, but see, these are some of the tricks they used to use back in the day.
Well, there's a couple of problems there with what Wolfie's saying. First of all, I have to point out, even though I'll be unpopular, right, with Anthony, he's not actually specifically stating he's making corrections for Coriolis.
The drift.
He's making corrections, but he says he's making corrections for Earth rotation.
He said drift.
Does he say drift? He does.
Yeah,
not necessarily
that's
Coriolis.
why I ripped him a new asshole. Because he said drift. Contextually, that's Coriolis deflection.
That's also wind, you dipshit. It's not just Coriolis. Jesus, what's wrong with you?
We all know what drift is. What about drift as we watch the pendulum swing and knock over the dominoes? That's it drifting. Because Earth's claimed to turn underneath it, not actually moving anything other than back and forth,
just looks like it because you're standing on a rotating platform according to the claim. So according to the claim, the pendulum, quote unquote, drifts. Not really, just looks like. Apparent, not
Actually,
really.
the
That's what they're claiming.
actually
That's
drifts.
Coriolis. That's drift. Yeah, Wolfie definitely said drift.
Yep,
And
I
then
can
he had his
imagine.
ass ripped through his
Yeah,
own
no,
throat.
What?
The pendulum on the focal pendulum actually drifts. It actually knocks over the little pieces they stand out.
No,
Yeah.
that's just apparent.
Yeah, it's just well, then it whatever. It's apparent, but it's physical. It actually knocks over those pegs.
I can cause an airplane to drift all kinds of different ways. The wind's one good way to get it to.
Yeah,
I can also cross.
have it bent.
I can also cross control the thing and slip it sideways. That's a drift. That's a real good way of drifting. Good way to stay lined up with the runway.
For an airplane, I just did a quick back of the napkin calculation to see how much of a force we could expect. So for a plane that's traveling 250 meters per second, so that's, I don't know how much it will be in miles per hour, somewhere around 500, I think, somewhere around 850 kilometers per hour. Anyway, for a plane that flies with this velocity, the Coriolis acceleration is 0.04 meters per second squared. So that's like 0.4% of a g. And it can be corrected by banking the plane to the side by 0.2 degrees. So that's the magnitude of the effect we are talking about.
Or less.
He actually has one of these really fancy airplanes. He was showing that bank in one of the videos.
Yeah, you can see that bank angle on his aircraft.
Probably not most airplanes.
That Global Express has got all the bells and whistles on it.
By the way, I want to give shout outs to Brian Logic. Got something right, or it seems.
Yeah, and then he agreed. Then when Nathan called him down, he agreed he got it wrong. So, well,
What did he get right? Please tell me.
Wolfie was not talking about the Coriolis drift.
Right.
Yeah, well, yeah.
And then Nathan shoots him down.
Yeah, Nathan wanted to get away from that in a hurry. Because Wolfie wasn't just strictly talking about Coriolis. That was obvious. But didn't fit with Nathan's narrative. Anyway, here's some more.
By me, a flat earther, for his total lack of understanding of Coriolis deflection, observed only from a non-inertial reference frame, that would be his drift.
Okay, but the problem is...
Flat earthers. Hold on a second. Flat earthers listening
QE to the rescue.
Over the past 5 minutes or so, that is the standard. What you just heard Nathan Oakley rip his asshole right through his throat, like he said, concisely, to the point. That's the standard. Can you do that? That's the question you have to ask yourself. If you can't, you shouldn't be out here.
Oh, so
Correct.
this
But
is
according to
QE
a Como
casino house
virus,
of Nathan.
Nathan
right?
doesn't understand Coriolis.
Excellent.
Whoops. Say it again.
That's QE kissing Nathan's ass.
No, that was QE jumping in to shut Brian up. Brian was going to go back to it.
He did kiss his ass and tell him what a great job he was doing.
Oh, yeah, sure. Absolutely. But that's, well, QE is Nathan's number one lapdog.
Did Neil said Nathan didn't get Coriolis right? Did I hear it right?
No, I don't think so. I don't know. We'll go
play it again.
Go back to it. Let's play some of it again.
That's the standard. Can you do that? That's the question you have to ask yourself. If you can't, you shouldn't be out here.
Correct. But
all.
according to a Como virus, Nathan doesn't understand Coriolis.
Excellent rebuttal ad hominem fallacy. Also a baseless assertion disproved by the last 5 minutes of statements made by me about non-inertial and inertial reference frames and the observation from a non-inertial reference frame of a not actual deflection in the inertial reference frame. That would be a very concise one-breath rendition of the Coriolis effect, proving beyond all certitude that I absolutely know what I'm talking about.
Proving beyond a shadow of a doubt that you are a total dipshit with no clue is what it proves. But there's something else in here I want to show you. And it's this pinned comment from Nathan. Now, hopefully you guys can read that, but in case you can't, I'll read it for you. Does anyone know Wolfie's employer? I think this lack of understanding could cost lives. Wolfie is accounting for a drift that does not actually happen. I feel this is a major issue, and Ruhif, a.k.a., I'm not going to say his name, and senile old George both agree. No, neither one of them agree, Nathan. Damn it. This needs to be escalated, and Wolfie needs to be fired. Is that amazing? What a disgusting son of a bitch.
That deserves a screenshot.
I saw that somebody had posted that the other day, and I just couldn't quite believe that, you know, there he is sort of hollering blood and wanting Wolfie to get the sack. And of course, Wolfie is a very, very experienced pilot, and Nathan Oakley is a gormless twat.
Do anyone here believe that he would get fired if Nathan Oakley calls him?
No.
Absolutely not.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
A fun day at the office for the people that took the call.
Yeah, for Oakley to think that he, you know, he's justified in that, and, you know, calling for people to help him do it. It's just quite something.
I'd love to hear that phone call. Hey, some weirdo called for you today, saying the Earth doesn't actually rotate.
I think most of his colleagues, you know, certainly the ones he flies with, you know, they know. You know, I'm sure they've seen his YouTube channel because, you know, he's so often filming things from the cockpit. Now, I'm sure everybody that he flies with is well aware of sort of the videos he's posting and the idiots he's arguing with. And
oh, of course. Of course.
Can't believe he's calling for his job because because Nathan misunderstands what Wolfie's talking about. Therefore, he's unqualified.
Can I give a shout out to, and I can't hardly believe I'm saying this, to Brian's logic, because Brian's logic made a very valid point. He wasn't talking specifically about Coriolis. He was talking about drift, and that went down like a Led Zeppelin.
Oh, Nathan shut him up in a heartbeat.
Yep,
that's Nathan for you.
God, this stuff's.
Well, I feel that he was also an extremely rude person that I really wouldn't like to drink with.
Yeah.
The way he talks to people is holy shit.
Apparently, Bev is going over your LIGO video.
Oh, is he?
According to Anamorph. Yeah.
Bev's going over my LIGO video. Ah, goody.
I bet he's pausing it. He's pausing it every time you say like level or system. Did you hear that? He said coordinate system. That's pretty weird.
He is indeed.
Yeah, well, Bev can do whatever Bev wants to do. I'm not particularly interested anymore. The guy's irrelevant. His channel is anemic and dying slowly or quickly, as the case may be.
Yeah, pretty much. You know that guy? What's his name? WhatsApp? What's up?
Yeah, what's up?
You know, he used to be one of Bev's little minions.
Yep,
yeah, used to be.
He's gone against Bev now. He's not one of his minions anymore.
Yeah, I know. I don't know that. I'm not sure where he stands on flat versus sphere and all that stuff. But
yeah, he still thinks it's flat.
Yeah.
But he knows that when Bev did his little test, and you know, it was pretty much fraudulent because he didn't show any of his data. And then I think Webb was looking for the data, and he just wouldn't give it to him. And he realized it was a bunch of bullshit.
Well, Bev's never done a test. Bev's only test is showing a water level. Okay, yes, we understand. A water level is a water level. Thank you.
Yeah.
Water is level at no water level.
Yeah, exactly right. He has proven water is level using a water level. Very good. Excellent, Bev. Nice job. Why don't you try showing that the center point of it is in line with the two ends? Try that.
Did you miss the part in the water level where it mentions correcting for the Earth curve?
Of course not.
Yeah, they always skip over that part.
Bev knows what he's doing. Some say I'm wrong about that, but I do think he knows exactly what he's doing. I think
he knows what he's doing. If he knows what he's doing, he's got several people in that room that do not.
Yeah, that's a fact. He's got his little cadre that hang on every word he says, but now think about who that is. I mean, it's idiots like Mike Jones and Essig Montreal and all the others in there, Mobius, and not a one of them could find their ass with both hands in a search warrant.
Flashlight too. They need a flashlight.
Yeah, it's
No, I like to say they wouldn't know the truth if it was tattooed on their forehead and they had a mirror glued to their hand.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I did just go and have and Bev's dulcet tones were going on about how words have explicit meanings, and logic and reality all got in there, and I thought, well, you're ignoring reality for a start, or pretending to. You think you understand logic, and you clearly don't. And you don't like the meanings of words, because when we tell you one of the definitions of level, you have a fit.
Yeah, words have several meanings. That's why we have this big book out there, we used to at least, called the dictionary.
Yep.
And if you think the words mean this thing, then you need to go from England to the United States and start talking about people's fannies, and you'll find out it's different.
Don't go there.
Or going to the US and trying to buy cigarettes using the English vernacular.
Excuse me, mate. You got any fags?
Yeah, that's not going to work. That word is like, and the C word that the Australians use rather freely is another one. Definitely don't do that in the United States.
Oh yes, they've embraced that a lot, haven't they?
Yes, they have.
Quite a lot over here.
Yeah, don't in the United States unless you want your face slapped severely.
Trouble is, I know too many squaddies, and amongst those types, it's the standard greeting.
Yeah, 30 odd years in the construction industry. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. They don't tend to with their words.
Erasers are another one. If you go to the pharmacist, the drugstore, and want a rubber, you're not going to get an eraser.
That's true.
Well, one of the things that you talked about earlier about logic, well, within science, everything isn't logical. You can't sit down and logically deduce something about. It's like the size of the universe isn't logical.
If you have a false premise, all the logic you want from that point on will still end up with a false conclusion because your premise was false.
Yeah, but sit down, if you know nothing about black holes, try to sit down and logic your way into how it works. Logic is a good tool to make your everyday work. But within science and a lot of the big questions, you can't sit down and use your logic. You have to do measurements.
Well, there's nothing more illogical than quantum mechanics. And the whole idea, the famous quote that probably isn't a quote: if you think you understand quantum mechanics, you don't understand quantum mechanics. It's just.
No, I heard I heard Feynman say that.
Really?
Yeah. He's not the only one. Many physicists have uttered that phrase before. It makes no sense. It really doesn't.
But it works.
Yeah,
It gave
that
the transistor.
it does.
It gave. No, shut up and calculate. No.
Yeah. All right. So that was anyway. My dirt for the afternoon was Oakley's nonsense. I thought about doing a video on it. I don't know if I'm going to or not. Maybe I will.
Flatsoy is up to his bullshit too.
Yeah, I got a love note from Flatzoid yesterday, I think. About Flatzoid's still going off about Cavendish.
Well, he's got to dismiss Cavendish because that their gravity exists. Okay. No, seriously.
Yeah.
I mean, this whole thing, they've got to say that gravity doesn't exist. And they've got to say that Coriolis doesn't exist. Because if they admit that gravity exists, they admit that the Earth is round. If they admit that, Coriolis exists, they admit that the Earth is spinning.
Did anybody see what I'm sorry, go ahead, Blue.
I was going to say that's the point. It's not even the right question. The question is not whether Coriolis exists. The question is whether or not the Earth is rotating. Because if the Earth is rotating, you cannot avoid Coriolis. It is impossible not to have it.
So if you start off with the premise that the Earth is not rotating, Coriolis cannot exist.
Right. So. Exactly. Exactly.
I was just gonna say earlier, did anybody see what Shin's post? His community post? Travis, the Plain Truth, actually got a paper published.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
really?
He got that published a little while ago, didn't he? All about his ether band.
Travis got a paper published?
Yeah.
The funny thing is that nowhere, and I bet any of the people he spoke to, nowhere did he divulge his actual beliefs in the flat Earth.
Where was it published?
I'm not sure where, but yeah, maybe if you Google it or something.
There's plenty of places you can pay to get stuff published, which
that's right.
Yeah, real publishing. So just
yeah,
I can publish gibberish today if I want to. I just have to pay for it.
Oh sure, yeah. If it was published in Scientific American or Nature or a recognized magazine, that's one thing. But there are plenty of places out there that, as you say, you can go and pay, and they'll publish it for you.
Usually the difference is that
nobody pays any attention to that shit.
Except flat earthers.
Yeah, well, right.
Just trying to see if I can find it. I can see the
Sure,
link.
Hawk posted the link in the chat.
Just what I'm trying to get to now.
Yeah, the link is hyperphysics. Yeah, the link's in the I don't know. You got to post the actual link if you on. I'm not sure if you did that.
There we go. Let me pop that in live chat. I will stick it out on YouTube as well. That is the link to Mr. Finley's Rethinking Refraction Improving the Inferior Mirage Model by Travis Matthew Finley,
Masters of Divinity. Yeah, Divinity.
Yes, he
Exactly.
he got himself a degree in religious something or other.
Right.
Oh, you mean he's another Hovind?
Oh, I don't know.
Well, that's where Kent's not a doctorate came from, wasn't it?
Oh my God, he's got a picture of the Black Swan.
It sure does.
Yes, he's got a master's in divinity, Master of Divinity, studying theology.
What is this hyperphysics thing?
The link's in Discord, and I've put it out on YouTube as well. That should take you to the
Georgia State University. Who the fuck is Georgia?
But what I do like is the start of the second paragraph when it says, this article will not directly address the cause of the events, but the implications of the events themselves in relation to observations made over distance.
Georgia State University, with 7 campuses throughout the metro area, this university provides a world-class facility for more than 51,000 students.
And I wish my friend was listening, because his toffee and butterscotch vodka blend that he sent me today is going down very well.
And I bet he didn't tell them that he believes the Earth is. Just
Why
like
does it
when he
look
had
like it
that.
was in Notepad in 1994?
It probably was. Remember when he had that discussion on his channel with some PhD or someone important? He had an interview with somebody. And then when the gentleman mentioned the curvature of the Earth, he's like, yeah, we'll get to that. We'll get to that later.
Oh yes.
And he never got back to that.
Correct. He references Andrew T. Young. Oh dear.
Yeah.
At the end of it. That's what I'm looking at right now.
That's it. Yeah.
All right. Tell me again where this is published, though. This is hyperphysics.
It doesn't look like.
It's part of Georgia State University site.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like it's a scientific, journal.
Oh, so it's just an article he wrote. It's not actually published.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, it's not published in any journal. It's not peer reviewed or anything like that.
So there's no peer review to it, right? Exactly. Yeah.
This, and I think if they, well, I don't think they want this up on.
Hyperphysics is an exploration environment for concepts in physics which employ concept maps. Blah blah blah.
Yeah, they've got a lot. You'll find a lot of useful stuff in hyperphysics. You'll also find some useless shit in there too.
I think we might have found some of that.
Yes.
As Travis thinks that no one understands how mirages occur.
Sites that does a very good amount of explanation into mirages too.
But I never got an answer from Travis when I used to ask him what happens when there's no mirage.
Yeah, I've been asking Rocky that. Travis and Rakia seem to have sort of the same misconceptions about how mirages must be doing what they think they must be doing. If they see the water is in front of something, they assume it has to be a mirage because the Earth flat.
Well, shout out to Travis. A flat earther finally wrote something.
Yeah, but I bet his original manuscript's in crayon.
Travis
Hi,
doesn't
guys.
come around much.
I just want to point something out about what Blue's showing at the moment. That diagram is not his, and that diagram has a very, very serious error as well. And I remember it now, and it was pointed out.
Please do enlighten us.
I actually remember what the error was.
Oh, that's right. There was, wasn't there? I can't remember what it was either. That was some time ago.
What doesn't appear to mention the flat Earth anywhere in this little article of his?
No, I don't think it does. I don't think you'll find flat Earth mentioned anywhere in there.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
There's even a
No, I couldn't find any.
There's even a note on that thing that says this diagram is fundamentally flawed because it fails to account for the skies being mirrored as well.
No, I think it's his.
I don't know. That's interesting.
Is it the colder air, warmer water?
Oh, he fucking uses his aether band thing and then defines it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. You certainly don't see too many scientific papers written by guys with Masters of Divinity degrees. Give him that.
I bet it's a Baptist too, judging from his. Nothing against
yeah.
Don't get me wrong, nothing against Baptists. It's just that there's a lot of fundamentalists.
So everybody's going to have plenty of time to see that. I'll roll down a little bit.
I think I know why it was published on this site and not anywhere else. Because it seems Dr. Nave that he mentions in this paper is the person that maintains this site.
Right, yeah, that makes sense then.
Say what now?
He mentions this diagram, which he says is fundamentally flawed. He also says that this is the diagram reproduced by Dr. Rod Nave. And this Dr. Rod Nave, if you scroll to the very bottom, he's also signed this whole article. You have Travis Finley, R. Nave. And if you go to the main page of Hyperphysics, you will see that R. Nave is basically who maintains the website.
He also has papers on the same place with the same diagrams. Let's see if I can.
So it just seems that Travis basically contacted Nave about one of his diagrams and then discussed with him. He also says so in the at the bottom in the notes. Note number 3 says that let it be known, since talking with Dr. Nave, he has graciously edited the image to reflect my suggestions here. So it seems he had some exchanges with this Dr. Nave who maintains this website, and then apparently as a result of this discussion, he published the article. At least that would be my guess.
Well, I'll have to sit down and read this to see if it actually ever says anything.
Well, I couldn't find anything. I sent you a note on that. R. Nave, he has a paper in the same place.
Yeah.
Where you can find that image he used. In this.
If you look on the main website in Please Respect the Copyright section, it's Hyperphysics, and in parentheses, copyright CR Nave 2017. So apparently this whole Hyperphysics is Dr. Knave's thing.
Okay.
Good for the person that got it published in whatever that is.
Well, he did something, so like I said, shout out to Travis. Way to go, guy. One of these days.
Anything that.
One of these days, I got to send my paper to somebody. I don't know who.
Oh yeah, there is a note.
Me.
There is a note at the bottom. The intellectual property rights and the responsibility for accuracy reside wholly with the author, Dr. Rod Nave.
Oh, okay.
But did anyone find anything that the Earth is flat? Or even suggest that?
No.
No. So.
QuickTime is a trademark of the Apple Computer Corporation.
Yeah, well, in general, it looks like quite an old website, doesn't it? What with as far as the aesthetics of it.
Yes, it's very old-fashioned, isn't it?
I would it of.
You'll run across it, depending on what you search for. You'll run across lots of fairly useful stuff on there.
Oh, I'm not saying it's. Not saying the information's bad. I'm just saying the design is.
Yeah.
It's a design classic, shall we say?
Yes, it was once. Yeah.
Yeah, it's clearly been around for a while, but okay.
Well, you guys have a nice day, and I'll speak to you guys later.
All right, Socialist Worker Drone.
Okay.
Thanks for dropping by, man. I appreciate it.
See you guys
that'll
later.
be on.
Yeah. Take it easy.
So what else anybody got?
I was
Must be
told
some-
not too long. Well, I was told not too long ago that if I stick a block of wood in a vacuum chamber and then pull a vacuum, the density of the wood increases.
Really?
Really?
Oh yes, he said, and it's been for an hour. He said that. It's still going, probably.
Who? I dread to ask. Who's he?
Percentage.
Oh.
Well, of course, you're pulling the air out of the wood.
Right. He considered the air that was trapped in the wood to be part of the wood, and then when the vacuum was pulled, he no longer considered the air to be part of the wood. He considered that empty space to be not part of the wood. So he said the volume decreased, so the density increased.
Makes sense to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, flat Earth physics is something to behold.
Yeah. Yeah. From a distance.
From a very long distance.
Yeah.
Flat Earth physics is the correct. You know this.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Oh, I got one of the quotes out of that discussion was amazing. When I was talking about the dimensions of the wood, length, width, depth, or length, height. The The end result of that was that him telling me that I'm confusing dimensions with volume. That's what he said.
Well, my favorite still is someone from Nathan's group a few years ago told me that there can't be any vacuum outside of the Earth's atmosphere because of the hole in the ozone layer. With that hole in the ozone layer, if there was a vacuum outside, all the atmosphere would have been sucked out.
Yeah, I could see that one coming. You gods.
Oh my god.
Right through the hole, huh?
Flat Earth physics.
Hell, makes sense. Makes more sense than most of the horse shit they come up with.
It's actually nice when they make any sort of claim, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because at least it gives you something to work with. I've been playing with one in another server, and it's fine, but she just declares that she's the most brilliant person ever to have lived, and that her God made it. Her God made it so, and we don't know.
Wow, convince me.
Oh yeah. Oh, and that we shouldn't be using tools to measure anything. We should just use our eyes because our eyes are perfect.
Well, they do have infinite resolution, do they not?
My eyes aren't perfect. I have to wear bloody glasses.
Yeah, my eyes are so buggered up these days that my glasses only work about 1 day in 5.
But your eyes are perfect.
Yeah, my vision is now so bad that I'd never get my bloody driving license back, even if I got rid of the headaches.
Fortunately, I've got one eye back and one more coming next week.
You been through the cataract thing?
Yeah, I had cataract, one eye February, and I get the other eye done Monday. I have 20/15 vision in my right eye. To get at least 20/20 in the left eye. The glasses are left to the dustbin of history. After
Yeah, my
50
wife.
years or 50 years of wearing glasses.
Yeah, my wife had that done. It's amazing. I need it done, but I'll get around to it one of these days.
It's costing me a lot of money, Blue, because now I can see how crappy some of my walls were in the backyard. So I had to replace them. So
yeah.
My 94-year-old mother had her cataracts done last year as well. So now she can see really well. Again.
Actual surgery from the time they wheeled me into the OR till they wheeled me out was 17 minutes.
Yeah, it doesn't take those guys but a split second, apparently.
That's all done by a machine, basically.
Yeah. So they put you under for that?
Sit around. What's that?
So they put you under for that?
No, they gave me a series of eye drops to numb the eye.
Yeah.
I don't know, 4 drops every 10 minutes or whatever it was. Half an hour. And they put me on a I don't know, like it's an IV or something, but I was awake the entire time. I heard, I could be talking and stretch some thing over your face so your eyes, you can't move your eyes, your eyebrows, or anything like that. I couldn't really see much. I could hear everything they were doing. Feel thing.
Huh.
I couldn't see much out of that eye anyway, so it really didn't matter. Always time for dad jokes.
It's true. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I want to be out, like out.
I don't. I'd want to be conscious while they're doing something with my eyes. Oh no.
Stream's buffering a little bit.
But,
sorry about that,
folks. My vision was so bad. Vision was so bad in that one eye that I didn't really care. I wanted it fixed.
That's fair enough. I mean, but yeah, when you're out, I mean, I remember taking a lass I was dating once. I had to take her to the dentist. She had 3 wisdom teeth out and a filling, and they wheeled her in, knocked her out, and I'd barely sat down and started reading the magazine, and they said, "Yeah, she's out." I went, what? I'm in there 10 minutes. Because when they're unconscious, you can just go for it, can't you?
I had that done in January. I had 2 impacted wisdom teeth. I've been living with my entire life, and then the molars next to them starting to decay. And when your kids, in the 60s, they did cavities. I had no bone left to do a root canal and a crown, so they took them out too. And I did that with local, and it was quite the experience. I don't like being put out, so having this guy ate for 2 weeks, but it didn't hurt.
Yeah. No, I'm one tooth pulled out. That had gone, but he sort of said, "I'm really struggling to get this thing out." I thought, "It's my bloody mouth you're mucking about. Get on with it."
He was good. I mean, I've had a couple other teeth removed by the same. One guy was like I was beaten up by a power lifter. I mean, it's a old guy who's like gotta be on steroids. I mean, his arms are like the size of a bodybuilder. He's pulling me like left and right to get this tooth out. He snapped it, dig it out. Oh my god, that was a bitch. So this one was pretty tame in comparison. It'll be time for implants.
My God, those things are expensive.
Yeah, I know. Tell me about it. I have to start making some flat Earth YouTube money to pay for that.
Yeah, just do a GoFundMe. Yeah, just swindle people out of money for improved security in computers and.
I don't know what you're looking at these days. A couple of grand a tooth or something.
I'm gonna right now. I can eat and everything. It's not a problem. I'm not sure I'm gonna do it, but we'll see. It'll be up to the insurance. Who pays what?
Right.
I probably won't. Sure. The prolonged process to put the posts in, and that's like 3 months, and then it's a pain in the ass.
Yeah, see, the stream continues to act up. I think I'm going to have to try connecting an Ethernet cable to this computer instead of running off the Wi-Fi and see if that fixes it.
I'm with Harold in the live chat. Familiar.
You can't feel it, but you can hear it.
Oh, well, you could hear it all right.
Yeah.
Crackle pop.
Oh, yeah.
Tricks that you plug into your router so that if you lose the internet, if you actually lose the hardwired landline internet connection, then this thing for a 4G signal on one of the mobile providers automatically and link you up on that.
Oh, that's cool.
That's what Terry's been having to deal with just lately, isn't it? The fact
Yeah,
that
and it's only because it was time to renew my contract anyway with BT. No, because you renew and you get this, you get reload service, and we'll send you this box of tricks that you plug into your router and blah 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 blah. And he said, "What mobile provider are you?" EE, which is what you're going to try and flog me now, aren't you? Because BT now own EE, and that's what it's through.
What was the internet over British Telecom?
Actually, I had a little blip a while ago, and that was because there was a dodgy cabinet out on the street, and once you fix that, it's fine. It's absolutely fine. Things do slow down a little bit at peaks in the evening. I think those of us who still have to go out to work, unlike me who can sit here all day, you get 5, 6 o'clock in the evening. If you decide to stream something, sometimes it's just an ever so slight or a glitch. But I've got complaints with it. Companies keep trying to tell me, super duper internet services offering you hundreds and hundreds of megabits per second download, and it's like, I don't know. I'm not downloading films. I'll stream something on Netflix or Amazon Prime or various other streaming services, shall we say. It needs this super duper fast, fiber broadband.
And honestly, if you haven't got fiber to the home option, I don't think it really matters who you go with for speed, because your speed's pretty much limited by the copper, isn't it?
Correct. There is now in the village here, another company came round last year and put in a fiber service. So there's a terminal in the box in my front garden, just in front of the front door, that if I went with them, I could get fiber. But I've actually looked at their prices, and when you get past the introductory price, it's this for 6 months, and then bam, it's like triple, and it's like, no, I'm not paying that, and I don't need it. There's only me here. Like there's a family live all constantly on the internet. Don't need it. Not good pay for
we
it.
have fiber to the house here, and, as a consulting business, so she's on it all day. On it a good bit, and my son's on it at night when he gets back from work.
That's it. Yeah, but
it works flawlessly. I've got the house wired. I've got Cat 6 rooms in the house, so if I really need to watch something, I just use the Ethernet. Works well.
But I'm here on my own. So there's only one person using the internet, and that's me. I've got what BT call a Halo device. So I've got a wireless device up here on the shelf above the desk, and that's what's giving me my signal from the router downstairs to my PC, and I'm still getting sort of 60, 65 megabits download up here wirelessly. I can't fault it.
I'm streaming this whole thing on my iPad with the Wi-Fi. It's great. I put an endpoint up in the this room in the house, and that's like Wi-Fi up there, but it's wired, so I can actually plug an Ethernet into the endpoint and use that. Wi-Fi.
The last place we struggled, and what I did in the end was you have these plugs and sockets that you put into your small power network, and you basically turn your ring main into a network. So wherever there's a socket where you'd plug an electrical appliance in, you plug in one of these doohickeys that's then got an Ethernet cable in it. So we could get the internet out to the conservatory. That became a games room for the boys. My office was the back half of the garage that wasn't connected to the house, and you just plug one in there. Bingo! I've got internet in the office, and you just have a master socket that you plug in somewhere that's connected into your wireless router, and it turns the whole house into an internet network.
Yeah, I've heard of those things.
Quite handy, right? Yeah, because I wasn't going to go to all the expense of actually putting cables everywhere. It's just like, well, hang on a minute, I can plug this in a socket in the house, out in the garage, anywhere at all.
There's wires everywhere.
Yeah, it's there's a socket there's a power socket, right? I'll plug this in, put it into the back of my PC, bingo, internet. Thank you very much.
They're talking.
Because the wireless signal just wasn't enough from to the house, all through the house, across the garden, and out into the garage. It just couldn't do it, and I'm not surprised. So we just turned the ring main into network.
It's okay as long as you don't need high speed, but it's going to be better than not getting Wi-Fi.
Correct.
Well, we did a major construction job in the house. So one section of the house was basically torn down. So all kinds of access to run lines around the house. I'd hate to try to do it now.
I mean, don't get me wrong. If I was having a house where I was doing the major renovation, then yeah, I'd put all the cables and the sockets in to begin with. But when you don't want to do all that anyway, and that house, all the house was nothing but plasterboard, and I didn't really want to be sort of making holes everywhere.
No.
Because these days they don't like using brick and block. They just everything in plasterboard, and once you've made a hole, you're knackered.
Is plasterboard the same thing as drywall?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
And of course, once you make a hole in it, we moved into the house and they'd left us some very lovely full height gold curtains in the living room, and it's like they've got to go. So they went, and the curtain pole went, and then it's like when you put a new curtain pole up, you can't use it in house. Then hate it. I hate plasterboard. It's nasty stuff. But when you're building houses cheap and in a hurry, you can just slap it up.
Yeah,
which is what they do.
They put it up with studs or strips or what?
There's usually sort of timber battens. You've got the inner wall of these is a sort of lightweight block, and you screw battens to that, and then screw your plasterboard, your drywall, whatever you want to call it, on top of that.
Here we did all studs when we did a lot of this work in here, and we had heavy curtains we put up in the master bedroom, and made sure that they put some extra studs in the wall up where the rod would go, so we could drill right into the stud. Using mollies and back weight up.
What you generally do over here, if you've got plasterboard wall and you're putting something up heavy like a radiator, you to connect timber behind. The house we'd bought for a fair bit of money, as I discovered when the radiator in the bathroom eventually ripped off the wall, allegedly by the cat, because neither of the lads did it. It was just screwed directly. Oh, I don't. Who did this? And I don't know. Oh,
yeah. That I've heard that before.
But it was at that point, if you're sitting on the carsy, as you went to get up, if you put your right hand out, you'd lean on the radiator, and actually after quite a few years of the lads doing this, it just got ripped out of the plasterboard. And that's when I discovered that there were no noggins, no battens behind the radiator, just screwed the plasterboard. Which is just, no, you just don't do that. Any weight at all, you don't just screw it to the plaster, because that's just invite to be tough.
The house we built, we bought here. This was built in the 50s, and I did a lot of the work myself when I was young, and I discovered that the exterior walls had no insulation. They were like, the house was built with brick and block, so it's solid as you could get. They just put furring strips up and threw vertical pieces of wood into the drywall, screwed into that. No insulation at all. I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah, that's a quite common method of construction. You're actually relying as a form of insulation between the two leaves of the wall.
Doesn't work too well.
No, but there's always been a big drive to come along and say, right, we'll fill in your air gap with insulation, but you've got to be careful, because if you get it wrong, you move the joint from outside the wall to inside, and then you get damp problems. So you have to be careful.
I don't know. We haven't had that kind of trouble, but do problems. But I can understand that.
Yeah, this I do remember doing this at college back in the 90s. If you actually draw all out to scale, you can plot the temperature gradient across the wall, and you can plot where condensation will start to form. And if it's designed properly, condensation form on the outside, which is where you want it. But if you get it wrong, it will start forming inside the wall, or actually even in the room, into the wall itself. And that's when you get damp and mold problems. So you have to be careful.
Yeah, well, fortunately, I didn't take the drywall off, the furring strips down, stud the walls out, 2x, and put the drywall back to do all that. So I only did that I was completely modeling a room where the 2 bath back to they're all fully insulated properly. The other rooms, it's like, okay, well, that's why you wear covers. Have covers, bed, a blanket. Sorry, it's the way it's going to work.
Yeah.
The rest of the house, when we redid things, that's all 2-6s and insulation. Although I didn't use any of that spray foam shit. It's all batting. I think that spray stuff's turning to be a problem.
Yeah.
Thanks to those shows on HGTV telling everybody to get spray foam insulation.
Yeah, well, that's something that they're really going for here in the UK now. They're just bringing out a new set of regulations, how things have to be built, and the heat loss that you're allowed now is getting really, really screwed down. Plus, the government are trying to persuade not to install gas boilers, and they want it all done with heat pumps. But that's going to be a slow and gradual process. You've got your building as efficient as possible before you start heat pumps.
I looked into solar here to handle all that, and for the topography right around here, I can use solar. So.
Yeah, domestically over here, we really don't get enough sunlight. There are, even right here within sight of my village, there are several fields full of PV arrays, but that's the problem. They're fields, not people's roofs. You just haven't got enough here. For it to be worthwhile, you need, 20, 30, 40 acres of the damn things.
Yeah, I had an engineer call me on the phone after their guy came here and did a survey. They had pictures of, they sent me pictures of the path of the sun. Would look in the fall and the winter, I'd get nothing.
Yeah.
So the engineer called me from the VOD and said, don't waste your money.
Exactly.
So
a few houses around here with it on. At least they are pointing the right direction. They are pointing south. But
I'd love it because it works. A friend of mine did it on his place. He's got some expensive audio equipment in there, and it works perfectly.
Mm.
Rid of all the electrical system, and he's as happy as can be. But he lives in a flat area, so he gets sun all the time. I mean, got a massive right in front of the house with a lot of trees on it.
The way my house is here, with sort of the neighbours either side, at the front of the house east. So sat in here, of a morning, it's curtains drawn, blind down, and it's still bloody hot and bright. Meanwhile, the house in shade most day, the rear lawn is more moss than grass because it just doesn't get that much sunlight on it.
Yeah, it works.
I have a huge house, a couple of miles to my southeast. It's 22 meters high.
I was going to say in Norfolk.
The one to the southwest, which is much closer, about 3/4 mile. That's quite big, but it's not quite as huge. That's only about 16 meters to the top.
How do you get by with all?
Oh, it's terrible.
Oh dear.
What are you going to do? I'm waiting for that energy technology from Roswell to be released by the U.S. government.
Yeah, they don't seem very keen to release that.
I keep waiting though. I'm trying to get a pass in the Wright Patterson. I've been told they don't keep that at 51 anymore. It's all at Wright Patterson. So, and we got to get in there and get some of that stuff. Amazing what people believe.
Yes, isn't it just?
Some of the stuff is fairly interesting. I have a friend in the military. He's told me some stuff, but it's not free energy.
No,
we don't have any of that technology.
No.
I kill you, but then I kill you type of info.
I had a neighbor that worked in the aerospace. Old guy when we moved here. I always tell the story. He was telling me a bunch of stories about how he would testify to closed door hearing Washington, bring him tea, and he had top security clearance, and he was going to some convention in Akron, Ohio, or something, and he was really in Afghanistan or some other point in the world. Helped develop cluster bombs and all this. This guy was really interesting. So one day I asked him. I said, Jim, tell me, is there anything to this positive story? He looked at me and he said, I'm going to tell you is there's something there, and don't you ask me that again. He was pissed at me for asking the question.
Wow.
So I always go, uh-oh, to myself, uh-oh, what's going on? I don't know what it is. That's why I don't dismiss Oswald completely. Just of that conversation and the conversation I've had with another person with high security clearance in the U.S. military. So I'll talk about that, but never know.
Yeah, some of these places they do get a little bit sort of iffy about security. I mean, Christ, when I looked at Myra for last, the test track place up the road from me, it was like, don't you be taking any photos? Oh no, you can't take photos. I mean, when I went an interview, they give me these stickers. I said, what are these for? Oh, to cover up the cameras on your phone.
It's like these First Amendment idiots. They want to start taking video. It's like,
No. Just no.
They're lucky
they're
not put in some van and never seen again.
I'm blind when they used to do the air shows over here at RF Mildenhall, a weekend affair. Absolutely brilliant. They'd have they'd already U-2 spy plane and an SR-71 on display, and both of them had armed guards, and one I can't for the life of me remember it, but one of the ground crew came out to the U-2 and he opened up the panel, and this one of the guys with the camera instantly started taking photos. Just look at that, click 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 click. Yeah, he got taken away by the armed guard.
Yeah.
Sorry, what do you expect? You're going to open up a panel in front of thousands of people. Somebody's going to take photos.
Of course. Some idiot's going to do it.
Yeah.
I couldn't wait to see those idiots that decided they were going to go to Area 51, try to break through the gates.
I really wanted to. Well, I didn't want to see that because they would shoot if they had to.
Yes, they would.
Yeah.
It's posted. Lethal force authorized.
Yes, absolutely.
Those signs aren't jokes.
Oh, they're not.
Yeah, that was a huge flop, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Just not surprising, but there was a certain sense of disappointment. It was like, oh, come on, I really wanted to see you guys try,
I didn't want to see anybody get hurt or shot or anything. But it would have been highly amusing to see a whole busload of them in handcuffs.
Yes.
Yeah, that would have been great.
Yeah.
Probably making 2 or 3 shots in the air, and they all would have been scampering away.
Oh, you bet.
I suspect so. Yeah. Yeah. As we sit over here, all mouth and no trousers.
I like that.
It's even better than all. Even better than all.
You like that one, do you? That's an old one. I haven't heard that in a while, but that's always stuck with me. Yeah, you're all mouth and no trousers.
Yeah,
remember that.
That applies to all these keyboard warriors, huh?
We're calling Q the whistle dick.
No. Yeah, that's the best description I could come up with. Whistle dick.
I've added that to my lexicon of insults. Thank you for that.
Yeah, don't wear it out,
Yeah,
but
so hang on,
it's effective. Yeah.
Let me find. I found the right bit of paper, and I quote, "Plus cretins," or cretins, as you guys pronounce it. Yeah, I did like that one, Blue.
Oh yeah.
always you English guys, you got to work on your pronunciation.
Excuse me.
It's not a root router.
No. Well, it depends because a router you use in woodwork.
Well, it's like when I was over there the first time years ago. I started getting into English football.
Oh, yeah.
So someone says this is a big B, and I'm like, "The hell's Darby?" So I try to look it up on the internet. Darby. I couldn't find it.
No.
And they said, "Do you mean Darby? That's Derby." They pronounce it Darby.
It's Derby.
Okay. Where's the A in Derby?
Well, it's the name of one of our Midlands cities.
Derby County.
Yeah. Derby.
Yeah. Derby.
Yeah. Well, I think the problem is the basics of English. I think is fairly easy for most people scattered across the globe to learn, because we've basically taken everybody else's language and pinched bits of it, and then mucked about and bastardized it.
You guys created it, but here in America we perfected it. How's that?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Go on. Pronounce herbs.
Herbs?
You drop the H. You just call it herbs.
Yeah, exactly.
But there's an H in front of it. It's herbs.
There's an H. There's an H in Tottenham, but you don't pronounce that, or Birmingham.
Hell,
I could go on. A lot of H's you don't pronounce in your words.
You guys put an H in front of H. It's never H, it's H. You don't need two of the fucking things. One will work.
Oh dear.
I could go on and on with differences.
Although I have to say that both of us seem to be able to have place names that are pronounced completely randomly, with no apparent regard for the letters that are actually in the word.
If we look at your county, Alan, one of my favourites is Wymondham.
Oh, yes.
But pronounced Wyndham.
And there's Cassiter, as my ex she moved up here.
Then there's Norwich.
For Caister. And the best one,
Oh yeah.
With a couple of P's in there.
Yeah. Work that out.
Like to nobody has ever been able to explain this. So,
I'll stick that in the side chat.
Maybe Alan can express to me. in the United States, we have an expression called "second bite of the apple." Makes perfect sense because there's more than one bite. You can take more than one bite of the apple.
Yep.
The second bite of the cherry. I mean, that's what you blokes say. That's a little much.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, yeah.
So, could never understand that one. Someone said to me that the first time over there. Well, what? You can buy a cherry. I mean, apple. No, cherry. Oh. And
Yeah.
funny thing. I spending is been fortunate to spend enough time over there that learn all this stuff, and it just fascinates me.
Yeah.
Eventually,
I think it's the history thing because you if you can remember what these things mean, work out. You can go to a place, you can go to a village, and you can work out who originally settled there by is it Anglo-Saxon? Was it the Celts? Yeah, because there's so many different. English didn't exist as a language for a long time.
we have that here. So right around here, we have some towns are named words.
Mm-hmm.
Some towns are named after Welsh. The place in called Ballistics, spelled like Sinwood. It's a Welsh name. As a kid, you learn how to pronounce all this stuff. When people come here, they go, "What the hell's this Ballistics mean?" Sinwood. Okay.
Yeah.
So we have plenty of that. All these towns around here. So Pennsylvania does have some of the best names. Of two towns I've been in, they're kind of like right next to each other up in Lancaster County. Intercourse. There's Blue Ball right next to it's like, who thought of this one?
Somebody was having a laugh.
It was probably those Amish. They're good for the Amish. Two towns up there. It's fascinating. Oh my God. Get me started on the Amish.
Question for Farmer's Boy.
Yep.
Have you ever listened to like Bev and when they get to a word that ends in G, they put a K. That come from? Instead of thing, they say think.
Yeah, that's that dialect thing. I'm trying to remember where Bev's from.
Midlands somewhere, isn't it?
Somewhere, but I can't. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure where. Could be. Yeah, there are certain sort of local dialects in this country that do silly things like that. They use extra.
I never understood that one. Why they put a K at the end?
Yeah, I know. It's just a local dialect sort of thing. You get that a lot in the UK. As I tell, if you go to Norfolk, the Norfolk accent, they can't make the U sound, as in beauty. They call it boot, my old boot.
Computers. My computer.
That's it. Because
Yeah,
a computer
is not a word they can say.
It's a computer, not a pew. It's that the U sound has gone from that particular dialect. You get that all over the place over here.
Amazing how many dialects you get because it's a big country.
No, but if you go back far enough, they were lots and lots of small isolated communities. Particularly, if you look at Norfolk, the Fens, it was flooded, it was swamp and marshland, little villages. People didn't, if you went to the next, you were doing well. So you've got lots of small communities, and they all develop their own little ways.
It's like that here. So you have a regional thing. So you can tell when someone's from Boston or from New York, from Chicago here. Then in Philadelphia, I can tell if you're from Delaware, this area, where you're from Northeast Philly or whatever, because every little area's got their own little weird way of pronouncing certain words or using certain expressions. Similar thing.
Yeah. But yeah, like you say, are a very small country. Yeah, US. Yeah.
You can always tell when someone's from Philadelphia by how they pronounce W-A-E-R. It's pronounced Wooder. It's W-U-T-E-R. My wife always gives me a hard time because she's from says, "What's Wooder?" I said, "Water, you know, from that." "You mean water?" I said, "Okay."
Yeah. No, I get that.
Yeah, so we have that little stuff. We have a problem with that. So you can always tell somebody. I was watching a Elizabeth Shue on the show, and she said, "Water," and I went, "Wait a minute." Okay, so I had the iPad with me, and I Googled her, and she's from Wilmington, Delaware. It's like perfect. It's a pretty good marker. And gets, you know, with some of the stuff people say in Brooklyn or Bronx or up in Boston. It's fascinating. Oh, sticks. Blue's done it again. What you do, Blue?
I just gave Bev's ass a little slap.
Oh, did you? Oh, yeah.
Apparently he's pissed.
Oh, bless.
Oh, yeah,
Poor fella. Poor little guy.
Doesn't take much to trigger these dudes, does it?
No, not much at all. Well, they were going on and on with me on a live stream. One of the times back before I banned all the bastards, they came in and invaded the Discord here, and there was a lengthy discussion that went on. But we got talking about LIGO, and they went on and on about me saying it was the East Arm and the West Arm down in Louisiana. And yeah, acting like I'm a complete idiot. Who the hell would name them an East and a West? Well, actually, they named them Southeast and Southwest, but there's a very good reason for that. It's the way the thing is laid out. So I just had a good time taking that discussion and ripping the shit out of it. And apparently Bill's not been happy about it. Oh well.
Sausage.
Yeah. Yeah, heads. I mean, pissed off. Not. Yeah, I understand the difference.
Keep forgetting getting pissed.
You're pissed off.
Or they'll say, "I'll go piss off."
Only took Only took Gadget a minute to copy what I wrote in the chat. He put it up over in Bev's chat. That's funny.
Oh, bless his heart.
Yeah.
Dear. Too easy sometimes.
Gadget Inspector. Where is he?
That does he have a little finger next to his name? Kind of on my iPad. Is that like giving somebody the finger?
No, that's I can't quite make out. It's a person.
I see it. Yeah, I zoomed up on it.
I'm looking for him.
This man's Dan, newest member of SEAL Team 6. What's that supposed to mean?
I was Cheswick still.
Yeah, what was that? I'm not familiar with that one.
No, I don't know.
They're clean. These guys are classy.
Yes.
They exude class.
They exude something.
I don't see him in here. What? He's using some alias, I guess.
What, in YouTube or Discord?
In my Discord.
Inspector Gadget or Gadget Inspector.
Yeah, he's not showing up in the list.
People shouldn't have sock accounts. Put your own name.
Your own name, but just pick an ID and just go with it.
And I use my own name. I don't care if people know who I am.
I'm different who I am, but I've been using Farm 1997. It stood me in good stead.
Oh well.
Who has 1 million subs but 54 people watching his live stream? No, he had 1 million views.
Let's give him a little answer here.
He's only got 54 watching.
He's got 40 watching.
Yeah, one of them's me. It has to be, so I can see what the live chat is.
The other's blue.
There you go. Buggered if I'm going to listen to it because Lebanese Hidanto.
Greetings, my fellow artists. Why are we watching Bev again?
Oh, I don't know.
Just seeing the Butthurst live chat on you. That was all. Not actually listening to the guy. You must be joking. Anyway, how are you?
I'm actually doing really simple. We work for once in a while.
Bloody hell, make the most of it then.
Yeah, I got to enjoy when I'm able to pawn off the hard part of a job to other group because someone just conveniently forgot to let them know.
Well played.
Yeah, we're doing a control scheme upgrade on production line, and I walked. I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not doing that part of it. Nope, not me. We have a group of guys that are actually capable of doing it and have the tools for it. We're gonna have them do it.
Yeah.
And Inspector's only in your server here somewhere, Blue.
Yeah, he's in here someplace under some alias. I don't know.
Well, either that or he's watching YouTube.
Yeah, that's possible. Could be watching YouTube. I don't see him, any sign of him in here. But no. He has to be in here because what I typed was in here. It didn't go out on YouTube.
Oh, right.
Or did it? Wait a minute. Maybe I did type it on YouTube. Okay, fine.
You typed on, yeah.
Yeah, I did type it on YouTube. Okay.
You haven't typed anything in Discord.
Yeah, I was typing it on YouTube.
Yeah.
All right, my bad. Okay. That's where you got it. That's where it came from.
Well, that's the risk with Discord. You never know who the hell these people are.
Yeah, exactly. I imagine
a
you've...
bunch of them at Dr. Bob's.
Yeah.
It is always funny, though, to see people try to take something out of a Discord server, intentionally take it out of context, and then outright lie about it. It's always fun when that happens.
You got to lie to fool.
It's not just the flerfs that do it, though. That's the sad part.
Oh, that's been going on forever. That's nothing new. That would go on this media, old yellow journalism days at the turn of the 20th century with the Hearst papers, and God forbid some of the stuff in England with the Daily Mail in the UK.
God, yeah.
There's nothing new there. Just using modern techniques, the same crap.
Good reason why it's nicknamed the Daily Fail.
Yeah, history is pretty. I didn't know that. I looked that up a few months ago. I'm like, holy crap.
Mm.
Yeah, they've gotten rather lax with the whole journalistic integrity in print media.
Yeah.
And just read the comment section and things like the Daily Mail. It's like,
oh
crap.
There's a Twitter feed I follow that's pretty much devoted to the crap that's printed in the Daily Mail and the comments. If you think the journalism is bad, yeah, look at the comments of the readers. My God,
I've seen enough screen caps from other Twitter threads and Facebook from other people to know that, oh yeah, if there's a comment thread somewhere, it's going to be garbage.
Well, so, like, for example, just personally, I think there should, news sites like supposed news sites shouldn't have comment sections. It's just filled with garbage. Even something like sports. So if you go, there's a media. I'm not going to mention names, but that cover Philadelphia area sports. And they're talking about the NFL and COVID vaccines and stuff. And next thing you know, the comment section in the YouTube channel is filled with all this COVID nonsense.
I know
the vaccine's going to kill you. It just goes on. And just all of a sudden, boom, 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 boom. If I was moderating the channel, I would delete that stuff and them. But they need the eyeballs for their algorithm.
Well, that's exactly it, and I have a good idea of which from that area it is that sparked that one. I spent some time down in the Philly area recently, and big sport fans in that building, to the point where each production line was decked out in a different sports team in their regalia. And yeah, people think that just the fans are bad in Philadelphia. No, the sports media in that town is even worse.
Oh, as someone who's traveled the world and has lived all my life in Philadelphia, I can assure you that the sports fans in Philadelphia are no worse than anywhere else. Well, at New England Patriots game back in Foxborough, where the fans were pissing on you in the stands. I mean, come on. Or in New York, you put your left in your hands at Madison Square Garden for Philadelphia. It's bad all over. There's bad apples everywhere.
Yeah, that's true. Hey, shout out to Chris Bowling for a $4.99 super chat. Congrats on 1 million views. Shocked me too, Chris. Thank you.
When you started this, how many years ago, Blue, did you ever think you'd get 1 million views?
3 years ago? No, absolutely not.
You're probably hoping to get like 10 subscribers or something when you started.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I've picked up some subs here lately. just because I think I've gotten back away from Cavendish and started doing more debunk stuff.
The Cavendish stuff is a little dry.
Yeah, terribly dry, and there was a very loyal group of people that would show up and watch that. But you know, a Cavendish video was good for 1K views, or maybe not even that many sometimes. And I really did sort of just ignore the debunking aspect of things. I had too much going on with Cavendish, just not enough time in the day. But I'm going to get back into.
There you go. Just going to say there's one person in here that's a loyal viewer of your Cavendish experiments, but just out of herself.
Yeah, Judy was there through thick and thin, that's for sure. And I appreciated you guys coming and watching when I was doing those things. I'll tell you, any one of those tests was 4 hours worth. And that's boring as hell if you don't have somebody to talk to.
Yeah, can you imagine?
Yeah, just sitting there staring at stuff and writing a number down every now and again. I can't imagine the torture Henry Cavendish went through. At least I was shooting time-lapse videos of it. So if all failed, if I missed a measurement, I didn't have to worry about it. Go back later, I was going to do it with the time-lapse anyway. So that I had my ass covered. Poor Cavendish had to sit there and try to figure out when the damn thing had reached its maximum deflection. I did that one time, one full test I did that on. Jesus, that was a pain in the ass. And I wasn't even crouched down staring through a telescope. I was looking at the monitor.
Blue, didn't I think Cavendish could afford some minions to do it for him.
Yeah. I don't know. Who knows? Whoever did it was it took determination, because I think he ran 28 or 29 different tests. I ran 46, but it was easy for me.
I liked your accidental 12-hour live stream when no one was there.
Yeah. Yeah. For some reason, OBS decided to commandeer the machine and go live for me.
Well, twist in the machine sometimes likes to take over.
Yeah, I found that out. Now when I stop streaming in OBS, I immediately delete the stream key so it can't do that again.
It's been fun listening in, but it's time for dinner.
All right, Joe.
Wife's down there working away in the kitchen.
Oh, look out.
Ready.
Look out, we got a drunk Scotsman in the crowd out here. John Watson for £5. 1 million views. It's about time. My paint is totally dry for your information.
A drunk Scotsman. Isn't that kind of redundant?
That is a bit redundant. Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Nah, John knows I'm just kidding.
And we could go to the other side of the spectrum and try to find a sober Irishman, but just don't exist.
You're better off looking for the Holy Grail.
Yeah. Gadget inspector's asking on behalf of Mobius if I could have a chat about LIGO. You guys up for a little fun?
Yeah.
Why not?
Well, let me see. I got to do something now. Let's see, where is Mobius? There's Mobius. All right. Let me reply to Gadget here.
And while I saw a bit in the live chat before where you guys were talking about town names, and yeah, I just that was mentioned. I'm actually headed towards another one.
Which one was that?
I just left Leominster, and I'm headed to Worcester.
Oh, Worcester. It's definitely Lemps.
Yes.
Yeah, it's one of the few town names in Massachusetts that was taken from England and actually still pronounced mostly correct.
I just remember, and now the 205 from Leominster. Steeplechasing. Yeah, I think that's steeplechasing, isn't it?
Possibly. I can't remember. Let me have a look.
I'm not a horse racing betting person, but
No, I'm not. I grew up near Newmarket. Hate the bloody poxy horses and the poxy guys who sit on top of them. Yeah. Should be not Leinster.
Yeah, we'll see where.
Get some whiskey to lubricate my spine.
Yeah. I had that vodka and I don't have another one because, oh boy, is that nice.
How you been, Jared?
What's that, Blue?
I was just asking how you been. I hadn't talked to you in a while.
Yeah, been busy. Been actually traveling out of the area a lot more for work, so haven't been as available. With kind of a good thing because there is so much more and so much better in the world than what a lot of people try to make you deal with online.
Isn't that the truth?
And for all the times that I've flown across the country, I said about a month ago, I finally got to actually set foot at the Magnificent Ditch.
That is an impressive thing, isn't it?
Yeah, I was out in the Phoenix area and ended up with an extra day with nothing to do, so I went for a drive. Didn't realize that it was just over 3 hours away to get to the Grand Canyon, but it was worth it.
Oh, yeah. I've been there. It's quite the impressive thing, that's for sure.
So it's as spectacular as it looks on the TV, is it?
Even better. Especially at sunset.
Yeah. I've a friend who's done the old helicopter. No, he did a little Cessna right down into the bottom of it.
Yeah, when I went the last later in the day on a Saturday, so I didn't get to do anything like that. But what I should have remembered, but didn't until I got there. So when I left Phoenix, it was almost 90 degrees. It was like high 80s. I got to the Grand Canyon and at 6,000 plus foot elevation, it was just above freezing.
Uh-huh.
I thought Phoenix was up right high as well, though.
But it's in a desert valley. Phoenix itself is still a couple of thousand foot up. There was actually a point on the drive up where I was over 7,000 foot elevation. But yeah, downtown Phoenix, it gets pretty warm, even in February.
Yeah, I see. I thought Phoenix was a lot higher than that. I thought Phoenix was like 4,000 or 5,000 feet as well.
Denver is. Denver is at the high fours. A couple spots actually do get just above 5,000 foot. Which actually, I think it's the stadium that the Rockies, the baseball team, play in. Might be in the football stadium too, where they have a row of seats for a different color. That is the mile high mark.
Yeah.
Of sea level.
Yeah, the majority of Denver is somewhere between 4,500 and 5,000, I think. Heads in the chat says Phoenix is 1,000 feet. Sounds about right.
Yeah. Well, it's down in a valley.
Yeah. Well, that's, the 1,000 feet is kind of like the average all around, all purpose altitude for U.S. cities. If you don't know what the altitude is, just guess at 1,000 feet, you'll probably be close.
Yeah. So not quite as down in a valley as I am then.
No,
Given that.
You're down in a valley for sure, aren't you?
There's a spot between me and the river that's at -1 meter.
Yeah.
That would seem to be problematic, Alan.
It will be if the damn levee breaks that's holding the river in.
Yeah.
Should write a song about that. Oh, hang on.
I think somebody already did.
Go and put the drummer out in the hallway. Yeah.
Yeah, you guys don't have any real big mountains.
No, nothing on the same scale that you guys have got.
Didn't they make a movie about a whole rigmarole about how a geographic feature was being renamed because it was too short? Oh God, what fucking movie was that?
Oh, yes, that does ring a bell. I can't think what it was called. Something about
The man who went up a mountain and came down a hill, or went up a hill and came down a mountain.
Yeah, I think that was it. Something like that.
Yeah. You could always go to Torpenhow Hill. Although we've not got one quite that tautologist, but we have got just not far from here. How
Yeah, I mean the tallest peak we have in the UK is Ben Nevis up in Scotland, and that's 4,413 feet. That's it. That's our highest mountain. I've been up that one once.
Yeah.
That was enough.
I've only done Scarfell Park. I've not done never been walking in Scotland or Wales.
It's the only time we went. The only time we went to Scotland. That is the only reason we went to Scotland, because we wanted to do Ben Nevis. But we made a week of it, and we drove up and overnighted in Edinburgh, and then drove all the way across Scotland to what's that great place, Fort William, that's at the base of Ben Nevis.
I made Helvellyn, not quite as high as Scafell Lake, but close.
I failed twice and Snowdon 3 times, I think. 3 times. Yeah, 3 times.
I did Helvellyn by a striding edge once. But Rumpers, I am absolutely terrified of heights. It makes
Striding edge is scary.
Standing on a chair makes me feel physically sick.
Oh.
Yeah, and as a 14-year-old, I got dragged across Striding Edge.
Bloody hell, Alan!
It wasn't the nicest day of my life.
Because Striding Edge, you've got that sort of 2 or 3 places. You've just got 2 or 3 feet wide, this super sharp ridge, and then you're looking down about 300 feet or something, 200, 300 feet down to the stuff behind either side of you. Whoa. And you start to make you feel wobbly. You think, one slip and I'm going to go one way or the other. There's no recovery.
Yeah.
And you're only balanced on this peak.
I didn't actually walk across that bit. About 6 foot down the side, there's another path that's about a foot wide that you can go along, but at least it then gives you something you can face the side and hold on for grim death.
Of course, you could do Snowdon quite easily.
Yeah, it's a railway.
Yeah, you get the train.
That would be the only way I was getting help.
That's the thing I love about Snowdon is you get all the way to the top. You think, right, we can have a cup of tea and a slice of cake.
Yeah,
you like cake?
No, it's very civil. I mean, Ben Nevis. I mean, obviously, I think there are still the remains of a weather station up there, but it's just a pile of old timbers, and that covered in bloody snow anyway. Even that we went up in Easter. And the last few hundred feet was, it wasn't snow, it was ice, because every man and his dog had walked on it. And of course, at Fell Pike, there's a few sort of circular stone, like, I can't think what they're called now, but they're just like walls. There's no roofs on them, but you can sit inside them. And if it's windy, it gets you out of the wind. But that's it. And of course, you go to Snowdon, and there's a train, and there's a cafe, and all the rest of it. Very civil.
There are a couple of peaks in North Wales that I would like to be able to figure a way to get to the top of. I can't remember the full name of them, but they're known as Cad East and Cad West, and they're an entrance to the Mach Loop.
Ah, and that's why you want to go there. Yes, that's why you want to go there. The Mach Loop. Yes, makes sense now.
the best bit of low flying area, the best low flying area for photography in Europe.
Yep.
And possibly the world, because
why?
I think, well, there's a classic piece of video, but I mean they get the F-15s from Lakenheath going through there. You get, used to get the tornadoes time and the typhoons. I'm sure the F-20 whatever's that are in and
It's
the
a valley.
F-22 has been through there.
It's a valley that they fly through, and if you get to the right spot on the valley, you're pretty much on the level with them.
Oh my God!
Looking down.
Yeah, or looking down on them. So as they come flying through, and they know, all of the pilots know there are people there waiting to film and photograph them, and they quite often play to the crowd.
There's a place I had the same experience. A place near Sheffield, Mange Tour or something tour, where there was a low-flying Chinook, and I've had exactly the experience you've just described, where on this ridge, I guess near Sheffield. Sorry.
Yeah, any place there's hills in the UK, you tend to get that.
And I was amazed. There are also
famous for it.
I felt I was standing over these Chinooks that were going. I thought, I feel like a god here, looking down on these Chinooks that were about a couple hundred feet above me, because it's the highest. I think it's one of the highest things in the Pennines. This mountain thing.
Yeah.
And to see these Chinooks go underneath you is quite something to see a helicopter. But obviously, you obviously. Yeah, I imagine if it'd be really great to have some jets going below me, but I didn't get a jet experience.
We actually
oh my God, Farmer's Boy, what a picture!
Yeah,
Christ.
that's the photograph.
Nothing,
isn't it?
No, but it's an example,
Bloody good.
No,
No,
I've seen,
that is something. That's something, Alan. That's good.
There's a video clip, right?
Right.
US Air National Guard pilots, right?
Oh.
First one goes through. He's banked over a little bit, and he goes through at the top of the valley. The next guy goes through, and the top of the wing is about level with the valley. Top of the
we should be streaming it.
But the point, but the thing is, he's flying a C-17.
Yeah.
And the second guy through is an obvious hold my beer moment.
I hope Blue should be showing these pictures you've got here, Farmers. These are just fantastic.
It's just that's one of my favourite ones.
I'm with stupid. No, is that the I'm with stupid one?
I'm with stupid. Yeah.
Yes.
That was
for that.
Yeah, he did get into trouble for that. But like I say, they know that there are people blasted all across this valley. And they really do. They play to the crowd.
Hilarious. That is absolutely. You're right. Yeah, my God, they really.
You'll get helicopters going through, and the crew chief. If it's a helicopter that's got a cargo ramp, the cargo ramp at the back will be down, and they'll be sitting on there and waving to the people as they fly past. And oh yeah, they know they've got an audience. They know people have gone all the way out there to film and photograph these guys flying through. Yeah.
You're about 500 feet above the road at the top of the top mountain. I've seen pictures of Hercules going through there at about 150 feet over the road.
Yeah.
What's that? The one above that, is that an F-15 or something?
No, that's that's the Raptor.
Oh, it's about just a Raptor.
Yeah,
I thought they wouldn't have a Raptor.
You've got an F-15, then a Raptor, then a Tornado.
Right, I thought it looked like a Raptor, but I thought it couldn't be that. I didn't think we had Raptors in this country. I didn't.
No, we don't.
We don't. But I didn't think why the Americans would bother coming over here with a Raptor. I just didn't realize. For some reason, I didn't think they'd be flying over here. So I thought I don't think else it could be, because I went for an F-15, even though I knew it wasn't really.
Rumpers, like we said, it's the best It's the best bit of flying country in Europe.
Yeah.
Hey, shout out Judy Bassett. 7 euros. Thank you, Judy. Thanks for the live stream, Blue. Yeah, you bet. having a little fun. Maybe Mobius will show up. We'll have even more fun.
But you're streaming these little pictures of farmers here. They're fantastic things, aren't they? Are they getting them on the stream?
No,
okay,
not right
they're
now.
missing some fantastic
Anyone can go and Google Mach Loop, and some of the videos on YouTube are just amazing. Now, we had this the first time we went up scale. We'd got to the top, and we were sitting down just to have a little bite for lunch, and I could hear the distance. I said, "Look, let's go over here to the edge, because if we're very, very lucky, we might just see something special." And we saw a tornado fly past, and we were looking at them.
Yeah.
They come through the valley sort of on one wingtip, so we were looking down like that last shot. We're looking down into the cockpit as if in whilst it knows what speed, you know. But you could hear him coming, and I thought, we were sort of near the edge anyway. It's like if we're very lucky, he'll come this way, and yeah, he did. That was quite something.
Yeah, I can remember in the lakes we were walking from down near Windsor up to water. And yeah, there was some hawks, but I think there had been a tornado as well. And up the valley, and then as they get, it's a blind valley, and as they get to the end, they're going over the top to go down into the next valley, inverted, because they're doing it as a half roll over the top, because they don't want to have to push down blind into the next valley.
Yeah,
so
I don't blame you.
just get the aircraft inverted so you can still see the ground as you go over the top.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's all sort of practicing sort of nap of the earth flying, isn't it? You know,
yes,
sort of coming in under the radar, hiding yourself in the ground clutter. So yeah, the closer to the ground you can fly. I mean, I remember once years ago, the Hall modelling club that I used to go to, we had two RAF guys. This was after the first Gulf War, and they come back with some of the footage that the backseat guy had shot when they were training over there, and yeah, there they are whizzing across the desert at almost zero altitude, and you realise that he's filming out of the back seat, and you can see these trees rushing by, and they're below the tops of the trees. they couldn't have been any more than 5 or 10 feet off the ground, and going 500 knots plus. Quite something.
So, did you take that picture of the Raptor, farmers?
No, this is just what I found on Google.
Right, okay.
If you Google Mach Loop, you find all sorts of photographs. I mean, so you've got. I'm guessing some of them are professional photographers.
A lot of them are.
Yeah, some of the images they capture are just stunning. But if you look on YouTube, there's umpteen channels, and hours worth of this, filming it.
I'm with stupid. That's hilarious.
Yeah,
that did cause trouble.
Yeah,
that wizard I'm talking to when they landed.
Yes, he did.
Rather like that F-15 crew that drew the penis.
Oh God!
Yeah, with all the tracker software, you could draw all sorts of.
No, they did use. They actually did it with contracts.
Oh, that's even better.
Yeah.
He should have got promotion for that. Yeah,
he did it in the sky. Yeah, something naughty that one. Yes. But this one with the I'm with stupid. I mean, that really that's a bit unfair. I mean, you say only someone who's really obviously taking an interest in here. I mean, that's quite harmless. I think that one.
Yeah, I know, but
Yeah, I mean, it's not really but I'll bet the pilot thought that was quite amusing as well.
Oh, I'm sure he did.
Yeah. But yeah, when you watch some of these videos, I mean, it isn't just fighter jets. The helicopters go through there. The Osprey tilt rotors go through there. Hercules go through there. C-17 cargo planes go through. All go through there. I think half of them are just like, oh, fuck it, let's just do it.
All the Europeans come over here, and the French use it.
Yes.
Really?
Yes, because it is a claim. It's a claim to be one of the best sort of low altitude flying areas in Europe. Yeah, if you really want to practice getting down and dirty, that's where you go and do.
You can go there and you can see aircraft with. I've seen photographs there of aircraft with French markings, Danish markings, German markings.
Yeah,
obviously the Americans. Pretty much, if you're a NATO member, they go. What I'd really like to see is some Romanian MiG-21s doing it.
Oh, yeah, that'd be nice. Yeah,
that'd be really get the Greek Phantoms and the Romanian MiG-21s. Come and have a go.
Are you trying to make people go deaf?
What about them? What about 25?
No.
That'd be nice.
No. I want to see Phantoms and MiG-21s doing it. And look, I will crawl up that mountain on my hands and knees to see that. If it takes me 2 damn days to get up there.
I mean, the F-22s venture out of the US then, because they are just a US aircraft. They don't sell them to anybody, do they? No one else flies them, presumably, except
Correct.
Americans.
Correct. They are only U.S. Air Force, but they have been deployed on outside of both directions of the U.S.
What you've got to remember is that still holds true. Certainly, when America had a big presence over in Germany in the Cold War, every American serviceman going over to Europe stopped off at RAF Mildenhall. Every US aircraft pretty much stopped off at RAF Lakenheath. So you'll still find that if they're going over to Europe, they come over here first. You do having grew up fairly local to these two air bases, you see an awful lot of things that you don't normally expect to see because they're just making their way through.
Hey, shout out to Harold in the chat for $10 super chat. Thank you, Harold. He says, nothing to say, just a tiny thanks for all the great content you've put out. Well, I appreciate that, man. Thank you so much.
Doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that good collection of videos you put when was it yesterday or the day before when you did your little million thing? I thought was that's a nice set of videos and just reminded me about the Brands Logic with a G being sprayed. Oh God! And I remembered all the pain I had that Skype chat had with them about it, and it was just driving me absolutely nuts. I teased that from my memory, but I've now documented it now to remind me that if I ever make anything stupidly, I can refer back to that. Jesus Christ. Yeah. So where is this? So where is this again? It's in Wales, did you say?
Yeah, North Wales, Macleneth in North.
Okay, I'll make it because I really enjoyed looking down on Chinook, and I'd really enjoy having a look at those.
Yeah, if you Google CAD East, CAD East, and and CAD West, it'll basically that's either side of the valley as they enter, and that's the spot to get the photos.
So how close is that, guy? Is that 100 feet, 200 feet? What I mean, 200 yards? What?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They can get
hundreds of feet. No.
Wow. That's so you can get to an air show, isn't it?
That's closer than you'll be at most air shows.
Yeah. Jesus Christ. And doing, as you say, what, about 400 knots? You were thinking?
Probably. No, they do go through at a fair pace. I mean, that's part of the training, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, they're enjoying themselves, but at the same time, they're training to fly sort of low level in amongst it.
Yeah, and as you were saying, essential because of all this radar. Well, I suppose the F-22 being stealthy, perhaps you would have thought it wouldn't need to do this low level stuff. It could just do, whereas something like a tornado indeed would have to.
There is a bit of a misconception there. The Raptor and even the Lightning, the F-35, it's not completely invisible to radar.
No.
It's just that instead of looking like an aircraft, it looks like a large bird.
Yeah, exactly.
It significantly reduces it, but it doesn't diminish it. So you still want to keep those skills of radar evasion handy, even if you are in a Gen 5 aircraft.
Yeah.
I thought it was more like a garden bird. I didn't think it was a large bird. But
Think large bird of prey.
Yeah, Rumpus. Given my exact background, I having talked to the operators, because I'm not an operator, so yeah, I wouldn't know what targets I was actually looking at most of the time when setting the system up.
Right.
Let's just say our operators didn't have much of a problem spotting the F-117 Nighthawk at 300 miles if it got high enough, right? With our radar in low power mode.
Right.
I during the first Gulf War, I spotted because a formation of them flew over the farm one night, and
Really?
yeah, and it completely screwed the TV signal up. I knew there was something different because you could hear them coming. And you thought, well, hang on a minute, I ain't in 15s. Because obviously, when these planes are flying over you all day, every day, you just know by the sound what they are, and it's like, hang on, I don't recognise that, and it might have been sort of middle of the night, but you could still see them as they flew over, and yeah, as they flew over, the TV signal got scrambled.
Bloody hell, it's amazing.
Which was a bit odd.
That is very odd.
Yeah, but it was a formation of. I mean, I must have been at least half a dozen of them sort of flew
So,
over.
Alan, you personally can invalidate the entire logic of the F-117. Is that correct? The entire effectiveness can be dispensed by you with even a low power jobby.
You have to understand, our system in low power mode was still pushing out 10 megawatts.
Yeah.
Right, but the point is, you're saying that you
instead of 60 megawatts, or in high power mode, at 60 megawatts into half the volume of sky that the mid power and low power mode were using.
Right, but the point is, you're basically telling us that you personally can detect an F-117 off-way?
I couldn't, but
okay, the opposite could. How far?
Well, out to 3 miles, but
bloody hell.
only when they were in the cruise at 57,000 feet.
Right.
Yeah, they have to be at the right altitude, and so you have to know what for.
Right, but it looks as though, from Alan's saying, these guys know what they can spot it.
Rumpus, they have to be at 57,000 feet at 300 miles because the radar horizon at 300 miles.
Okay, but let's suppose they're I don't know 1,000 feet high, and they're 50 miles away. What about that?
Yeah, that wouldn't be a problem at all.
Really? Oh my god. Right. This is hold on. I mean, news just in. Isn't that rather contradicting the whole point of these existence? Or are you telling me this is just not as 22?
No, they are not as good as the F-22. The radar cross-section reductions have significantly increased. Because keep in mind, the F-117 was one of the first aircraft designed by computer.
Yeah.
I mean, I knew the F-22 was better, but I didn't think. I mean, that sounds to me, if you're basically saying the F-117 is just basically visible from, basically any height at a reasonable distance away, and then I was thinking, well, okay, so what's the F-22 like?
Here's another piece of the puzzle. The F-117 was designed to be low observable from Soviet radar. Which operated slightly differently than ours. The principle was the same, but the frequency, the band, and the power output that we used was different than what the Soviets were using. They've gotten closer to where there is more overlap on that side of it now.
Right.
But back in the day that the F-117 was designed and flew, there was more of a disparity. That we had better radar detection technology than they did.
Yeah. Although they had better countermeasures.
Exactly. Yeah. there were areas where we were lacking that they improved on. Is
Yeah.
when you actually look at the capabilities that the Western world and the Soviet sphere had back in the 80s and 90s, it's surprising how things actually worked out. And it actually also shows the effectiveness that certain espionage activities had. Because for a while, the Soviet submarines were noisy as hell, and
Yep.
it was all because, well, it was primarily because of their propellers and the way they machined them. And some puke from the US, but friendly with the Russians, and simply understood the knowledge that he shared with them, and it was effectively overnight. The Soviet submarine got significantly quiet, and it was all because of the change in the machining of the propeller.
Mm. Yeah, they were. Um, yeah, I think the Ukrainian. I was trying to think what those Ukrainians would give for a few stealth aircraft because they haven't got any at the moment. They could have get 85 or something, and then go over to Russia and just do a bit of interdiction, or make a couple of visits to some places in I think they'd give for that. They'd be just God. They would love to have some F-35s. They really can. Presumably, that's even more effective than the F-20. Stopped building the F-22. Was it 10, 15 years ago? And the F-35 was next level.
I would expect that they would actually go just to get a load of F-29s.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, MiG-29s even.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Because they happen to know how to fly already.
Yeah. But
And
they were. Yeah, that's a problem. But I mean, they're getting courses now. I mean, we've got Ukraine over here and in Germany now being trained on the new equipment we're providing them with. Okay, I'm sure if we did an individual tuition, say on 4 or 5 Ukrainian pilots, how long would it take them to be able to an F-35? I wonder. I mean, if you
3 years.
Even if you've
platform
been a flyer before.
platform familiarity, crossing platforms, the US training plan is still multiple months to go from one platform to another.
Okay, months then. Okay, yeah. I mean, I can believe that. Yeah, I mean, just on computers to another takes long enough to get to grips with it. If I'm flying an airplane with all the different knobs and things and displays you've got to put up and God what else I can imagine. It's just getting months just to know what the bloody knobs do.
I say a couple of years because you've got to remember they've got to move from using essentially Soviet era aircraft to Soviet era Soviet aircraft to modern Western aircraft, and that would be leap.
Yeah, perhaps months wouldn't be enough for it, really. Yes. Oh well, it'd be nice if we could have done that. Could do that though, but yeah, I think certainly given them. Yeah, I mean, I'm not seriously proposing as a possibility, but it would have been. Yes, if they'd been NATO, yes, presumably they'd have bit more possible. But yeah, as you say, in terms of practical terms, yes, giving them a load of M29s, MiG-29s is obviously an easy solution, of course, and that seems to be sort of happening now. So,
yeah, I mean, essentially, what the optimum for their air force at least would be the former Warsaw Pact new NATO members to be letting them have their old
right
West
because that's
Eastern Bloc aircraft that they might still be operating.
Yes, because I think they were saying that when Poland made an offer for the MiG-29s, doing exactly what you were saying. I think had their some kit was upgraded to NATO standard or something. Don't give that away to the Ukrainians, so they'd have to rip that out and give them something more, as you say, the old genuine Soviet stuff rather than the upgraded Soviet stuff. But That seems something like that seems to be happening now, despite the fact the Americans sabotaged. Well, the Poles didn't want to give it, as we all know, the Poles were offering to do it if it went via the Americans, and the Americans said, "Well, that's a bit too close. Getting us a bit too close. We don't want to do that." But I think something like that's actually beginning to happen now. So, and I think I saw some report that they saying the MiG-29 wasn't as good as the Raphael, and there's something else saying that the Raphael selling better than the Euro. Than the Typhoon, which annoys me a lot. How come the bloody French have been able to build that Raphael by themselves, and we had to go and bloody have to do it only in the Euro consortium? Most annoying that we've not built a bloody plane by ourselves since the Lightning. Fighter anyway.
I think that's more of a political issue than anything else, to be honest.
Well, financial, I think as well. I mean, but the fact the French were able to build the Raphael by themselves, although it was a shoot of the Eurofighter project, still annoying that. And they're selling better than just as of the last year. I think the Indians have bought it, and some other people have bought the Raphael, and apparently there was some. I think when it's in India or something, they compared the Raphael against the MiG-29, and they found that the MiG-29 wasn't anything like as good. But still good enough for the Ukrainians and to fight off the Ruskies.
Well, fellas, we've been live streaming for a little over 3 hours now, so I think I'll pull the plug on the YouTube side of it, and we'll just stay in here and chat for a while if you guys want to. Anybody that would like to join is welcome to. I'll stick the link to the Discord back out in the chat one last time. Thanks for coming, everybody. Appreciate it. Thanks for all the super chats too. And Alan, Farmer's Boy, Rumpus, and all the other panelists that were here and have left now. I appreciate it. We'll do this again. Good night, YouTube.
Night.